The Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
Hey everyone, it's Santana, and you are watching the DL Show only on Dave's Guitar Channel.
Hey now. All right, everybody. We are back. It is Monday night. We all know what that means. That means the greatest show on TV, the football, Monday Night Football is on, and those who don't watch football are here. No, I'm kidding. Everybody, let's welcome back Matt to the show. Let's say hello to Joe.
Hey everybody.
And in badly need of a haircut after watching that introduction, Krellbar is here. Krell, you're going to get that haircut you had in the intro. That was a good-looking cut. Now what happened to his mic? We don't hear you, Krell. Nah. Go to
That
voice
better?
meter, and there you go. Yeah, would you have it on mute?
Okay. Yeah, I did. I didn't put it on mute. It was on mute for some reason.
Oh, all righty.
The wonders of
so-
StreamYard.
So let me just say this. The other day, Joe messages me and says, Dave, I put butter in my coffee. He said, I like the simple things in life. Butter in my coffee, butter popcorn in my ass. What was the line? You know what I'm talking about? It's Boogie Nights. When Philip Baker Hall is saying it and the Colonel's in the background laughing. Anyways, he put butter in his coffee. How was that experience for you, Joe?
Unbelievable.
Lollipops in my mouth. Thank you, Hannah Baum.
I had seen the video you posted to the carnivore group about the person eating a stick of butter a day.
Yes.
Who's that? Homer Simpson?
And I was like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. I was just about to make a cup of coffee, and I had used up all the half and half, and I had my heavy whipping cream. I said, let me have the butter. Something told me, try it with the butter instead of the heavy whipping cream. And I still use my Truvia and my flavoring that has no calories, no carbs. It was unbelievable. I've been having it like that since.
It's fantastic.
Unfucking believable.
So Matt's been doing it for a long time. I've been doing it for like a month and a half. Let me welcome Zim to the show. Zim, welcome.
It was him. Dane.
You got audio, Zim, or what? All right. So I love it. I add MCT oil to mine, which is medium chain triglyceride coconut oil, which really is just used because it's like the fastest fat that your body accesses right away. So it gives you like instant energy. And you do the MCT also, Matt?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I
fantastic.
used to. I haven't had any in a while, but I may pick another bottle up.
Yeah, it's great. And let me just say that after I posted that about the woman who said to eat a stick of butter a day, because she makes some unbelievable points about what saturated fat does for your hormones and all the things. I bumped my butter in my coffee to 3 tablespoons.
Oh.
And I feel fantastic. Today, gentlemen, I am down to 187 pounds.
Nice.
Yay.
I think, and I've said this, I was telling Matt and Krell before the show, I think I'm going all the way down to 175 because my goal is to be a certain level of percentage of body fat. And to get to that body fat, I think I'm going to weigh
Get down to
175.
Dane level.
Yeah. And then I'll do a cycle and get myself beefed up to 205 again. No, I'm kidding, folks. I'm not kidding. I will get back on it. Right now, by the way, if anyone's curious, I'm not taking anything. I'm 100% clean.
Are you on that
I
shit
fin-
again, Dave? Are you
I
hitting the
fin-
smack?
No, I finished
hitting
my
the
last
hash?
cycle, it didn't really do anything. I mean, it felt like, once I started taking in the fat, I think, and that was when I got off. I think that my natural testosterone levels started jumping from because that's where the hormone production is from. A lot of people will say, hey, well, doesn't that build cholesterol? Yeah, you want cholesterol. That's what builds your hormones. It helps you with your body. Yeah, and if you're worried about your heart, go talk to your cardiologist. But
Well,
they should tell you that it has nothing to do with it.
that new video you posted too with the heart surgeon,
Was that unbelievable?
that was too. Yeah, I the way he talked about the plantar fasciitis that just went away after 3 days, and he had been trying to get rid of it forever.
Yeah.
I've noticed a few things like that too, because all the little aches and pains I used to have getting out of bed, I'd feel like an old man getting out of bed and going, oh shit, God, what the hell, and now it's like no problem.
So the woman with the butter also talked about doing drops of iodine.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
She's-
thinking about that. What do you think?
Oh,
about
I
it?
ordered it already. She's like, it gets rid of cysts and it gets rid of things in your body. Well, if it gets rid of cysts and things in your body like that, taking 2 drops of iodine,
Yeah.
I'd rather take 2 drops of iodine than get knocked up by a doctor and have him fist me in the ass every time I got to get a colonoscopy.
Send
Plus
me a
it's-
link to what you
Just so they
ordered.
can tell me,
You
oh,
ordered
we
it,
got
it's
rid
gotta
of a
be the good one.
cyst. You got to
Oh.
come back in 5 years.
Make sure
Fuck
you
off.
use iodized salt too.
It's good for your thyroid too.
Yep.
That's what I believe. That's
Yeah.
what they say for like people with Hashimoto's syndrome and all
Right.
that stuff. Yeah.
And
Send me
I've
a
told
link
many
to the one
people
you ordered so I can get some too.
it's the one company. It's called. I'll send it to you. I'll send you the link. They're free
I tell you
shipping.
what, though, since I've added the butter to my diet, and I've been using this, I had used it before, but I had run out, and I finally got some again. The nutritional yeast.
Yeah.
Holy shit, my energy's through the roof, and even my knees, which are legendary bad, I'm fucking flying around.
Yeah. You
No
had said
pain.
that. You said that the pain in your legs went away.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was cooking for Mikey the other night, and from the knees down, it was like Frankenstein. That stiff walk.
Right.
I had the butter, and the next thing I know, I'm moving my ankles and the knees, and it's like the Tin Man creaking and cracking. It's coming loose.
Right.
And ever since, and I'm not having a whole stick. I'm
You're like
putting maybe
walking
a
around the
third-
house like Nipsey Russell in The Wiz.
Man, I'm telling you, it makes a difference.
Gonna ease on down the road.
Who was the Tin Man in the movie? It wasn't Ray Bolger, was it?
Yeah.
No, he was the scarecrow.
no, that
He was
yeah,
Scarecrow.
he
Who was
Scarecrow.
the Tin Man? I couldn't
That
think of
was-
it. So I,
Oh God, I should know this.
Oh man,
the lion was
something.
Burt
Burt
Jim-
Lahr.
Yeah,
Burt Lahr.
Burt Law.
The only reason why I
Wasn't-
know that is because
wasn't James
Snagglepuss is based on Burt Lahr. Exit stage left, right even.
I thought
Well,
it was
the original,
James Hetfield.
the original Tin Man was supposed to be Buddy Ebsen, but he
Yeah, I
got
remember
sick from the
hearing that.
makeup, and they had to replace him. Jack Haley.
Jack
Oh.
Haley. Thank you very much. Yeah, see, I would have used that name, but Nipsey Russell to me was the iconic Tin Man.
Jackie Earl Haley.
Not Jackie. Earl.
Sir Jackie Earl Haley. That guy deserves
Tin
to be
Man sprung a
knighted.
Kelly leak.
Yeah.
Awful.
Hey,
I
come
say.
on. I pulled that
No, it's a good
reference
one.
out of my ass.
No, I love I love Jackie Earl Haley.
Yeah. He made a hell of a
You know,
comeback.
Jackie Earl Haley, here's a little trivia. Jackie Earl Haley took his buddy to go to an audition. His buddy was Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
And they went to audition for A Nightmare on Elm Street. And Johnny Depp got the role. Years later, Jackie Earl Haley replaces
Played
fucking Freddy Krueger.
Krueger,
Robert Englund, whatever his name
Yeah,
is.
my favorite role, Jackie Earl Haley. He played Rorschach in the Watchmen.
Watchmen.
Fucking
Yeah.
Yes.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Unbelievable.
he's a great actor.
One of the best
Yeah.
adaptations of a character coming to life from the comic book.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you, he acts the pants off of Tom Cruise and losing it.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go get my tuck and roll.
Knock knock, who's there? Tijuana. Tijuana who? Tijuana, take your mother to the gangbang.
Hey, let's face it, he was great in the
Knock,
Bad
knock,
News
who's
Bears
there?
too.
Eisenhower. Eisenhower
it?
late for the gangbang.
Yeah, exactly. They do the whole
John
shtick.
Dalby.
All right, so if Cheech is bringing up, how many guitars are you down to?
I'm down to 21. I've been down to 21 for a while now. It's kind of stagnated.
I'm not even up to 21. But let me say this. I was thinking the other day, and I'm basically a Strat and Telly guy. It's what I like. I like the way they feel. I like the way they play. I've owned a few Les Pauls over time. I always just get rid of them because I'm like, you know what? They just sit under my bed. I don't play them. I don't like the way they play. Do I love the way they look? I do. So, gentlemen, I want you to tell me some guitars that you fucking love the way they look. But when you went to play them, you hated them.
I think
And I will
got one.
start with one of my all-time favorite guitars because it was on the cover of Kiss Alive when I was a young sperm. And it
I know what you're
was
gonna say.
the Firebird by Gibson.
Yeah.
And just a beautiful looking guitar. You pick it up and you're like, where's the boat?
Yeah, it's the boat anchor.
I'm going down the river Styx with a fucking with a Firebird 7 in my hand.
Oh shit.
I like Martins. Yeah, I love the HD21V. I think is the best Martin guitar. I love that. Jan says the Flying V. Yeah, great looking guitar. Funniest thing I ever heard about a Flying V was I went to go sit down with it. I'm like, man, it's really uncomfortable. And this guy says to me, you can't rock sitting down. He was joking, of course, but we got a big laugh out of that.
Yeah.
You can't rock sitting down.
I gotta say the hollow.
No,
body,
Yak, but it wasn't me.
The
Sorry, go
semi, the 335s, 355s. I love the way they look, but every time I played one, they just don't feel right, man.
And you had a 355, if my
I
memory
did.
serves me, a
I
white
did.
one.
I did, yeah.
I do remember.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous guitars. I mean, the 355 is gorgeous. It's got the ebony fingerboard. It's got the custom inlays.
Like a Les Paul custom, but in a
Yeah, it's a beautiful guitar. And I even love the Lucille because I don't care for F holes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nor do I.
But it is a big boat.
Mm-hmm.
I can adapt to pretty much any guitar, but I have to say the Les Paul styles are clunky. When you're coming from the S type and you're used to that easy reach high up on the neck, and then you switch into a Les Paul,
Yeah.
you got to adapt.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Love the way they look. I think it's the best looking guitar, but I just can't play them.
Mm-hmm.
I did a video. I had a customer come in a couple of days ago, and he has Chris Holmes from Wasp. He has that 1983 Jackson Star that belonged to Chris Holmes from Wasp. And he brought it in. I did a video on it. I got to play it. The lower horn on it, the way that it's shaped, it comes up at about, if you go up to about the 15th fret to try to play some lead in your A minor box right there, you can't even get to that because of the way the bottom horn is.
That would be the
on that.
17th fret, by the way.
Yeah, 15th, 17th fret. It's hard to get up there.
Yeah.
And
15,
15th would be your
17,
G
whatever
minor
it takes.
box.
it's hitting your
Right.
hand, and it's a cool looking guitar. The video I did on that a week or so back is doing really good. But it looks killer and everything, and you'd be like, yeah. But then you try to play it, and you can't even get up to the 17th fret.
I just think it's funny because there's guitars we look at and we're like, oh man, I'd love to play it. And then you go to play it and you're like, yeah, I never want to
And
play
then
that
a guy
again.
tried to sell me an Ampeg guitar. Now I know that they had the clear.
The clear
Dan
the-
Armstrong
the
one,
Dan
right?
Armstrong, yeah.
There was this other kind, and I brought it in, you know, and it has two long, really weird little horns on the top and the bottom. And I try to get up
Hey, John.
12th, 13th, 14th, 15th fret. You can't get your hand in there.
Yo, bro.
You have to try to.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm not buying this from you. And I handed it right back to him.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was always the Strat shape made the most sense. For me. I do like Tellys too, because I just think they're cool. And they almost feel like Strats. Like my G&L Telly has all the cutaways as a Strat does, you know, the tummy cut and all that. So it feels basically like a Strat. Those are great guitars. There is some Gibson guitars though that like I said, like we were talking about, that I'm not too fond of. The 175 is another one. It's like playing a dolphin, right? You got the giant fish in your hand. It's like the.
I bought this,
I don't mind the
we
SG.
could
I don't
go back.
love it.
and it's an American-made telly.
Yeah.
And somebody
That's
did
nice.
the old they put a DiMarzio, or they put a Seymour
that's a
Duncan
mini-
right here. So you got the old.
Is that a
Keith
mini
Richards
bucker?
kind of-
So it
yeah,
looks
it's
like.
got a little a Seymour Duncan mini bucker in it.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you got the whole Keith Richards kind of thing going on.
What's Keith about it?
I put new strings on it. It's got the
That's
micro.
what's Keith about it. He put new strings on it.
What's Keith about it? It's got a humbucker in the neck.
Well, he had the wide range pickup, which really is not a true hump. Like it's not. But that was only on his 72. The one regular one he has, he just has the regular lipstick on his 52, 53, whatever year his guitar was. I like the mini bucker. In fact, I think Fender makes it in the 52. Don't they do like a 52 hot rod with a mini bucker in the neck?
I don't know.
Somebody look that up. I think it's called a 52 Telly hot rod. And that, let me see that. Hold that one up. And this guy did a good job. I like the ring around the pickup. I like the pickup ring. What are you
It's
asking
got
for
the
that?
white perloid pick guard and then the cream
Oh, that's
ring.
Dave's
I don't
favorite.
know I don't know if I like
that
it.
would come off immediately.
A cream guard would be better, wouldn't you think?
Or black.
Match the pickup ring.
Yeah, I was going to say black.
Well, let me ask you this: like white or the old white, one ply white. What is the That's a USA. Oh, I don't like the bridge. Sorry, I didn't see the bridge. I didn't realize
The
it was. I
serial
like
number
the
says
ashtrays.
US 12 31. So I think it's
20. That's a
2012.
2012.
But it's got the cutaway. It's got the nice belly cut.
Yeah, cool.
And I
It's a
got
cool
it priced
guitar.
at $800.
Guys, that's a
$800.
steal if you're into tellies, because the only thing you would have to do to mod that thing is get a Glendale bridge and replace that bridge.
You don't like the bridge?
I do not like that bridge. No. Wait, let me see. Is it an ashtray? Or is it flat? No, it's flat.
it's flat.
I hate
It's
that.
flat.
I hate that.
Oh.
I don't know why they did that. You know, years ago in like 2008, they had the USA, right? And then what was the USA that came in the gig bag? What was that one called?
Maybe it is the
It was the cheaper
Highway
one.
1.
No, it
The
was
Highway
after
1?
Highway 1. Highway 1s weren't finished. They were like, you know, they had
it was the American. No, what
Right, there was American
Standard?
Standard, and then there was an American something else, and it was the cheaper one. And
Maybe
they put the better bridge on the cheaper one. I never understood that on the tellies. I'm like, why would you put the better bridge on the cheaper telly that comes with the gig
Was the
bag?
American class? I still remember when I got my Strat, they had one and played
Special.
pretty nice there.
I think it was American Special.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
It had the big
Yeah,
ass
Ricky Compton
headstock.
just
It
said
had,
it
it
too.
had the 70s headstock.
Oh, they did? Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But the tellies were better. I think the tellies were better than the American American Special was better than the American Standard.
At least you
People
can
seem
get
to
up
like
there.
SGs. SGs are great sounding guitars. I would never own one in a million years. I would never own one in a million years. I just don't care to play them. They don't fit comfortable. The neck feels like it's shooting out of the fucking guitar because it's like connected over here.
Yeah,
It's weird.
neck heavy.
weird.
You let go of the guitar and it drops.
Oh, there you go. That's a the
Don't diss
walnut.
my guitar.
No, like if you can play it, it's cool. Like I said, I think they're great guitars to look at, but to play, I pass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, I would I would love a Firebird 5 or Firebird 7 so I could hang it on my wall. I would never play it because literally.
What do you think of Explorers?
I love
The same.
Explorers. I
The
know
same.
why. I love the
way
cream
they look.
Explorer.
Hate the way they play.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about those Gibson necks. Like, I don't know. I don't like them.
Does anyone else have trouble if you're used to Fender spacing and then playing a Gibson? It's like a total adjustment for me. I can't just jump right from one to the other. It seems,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, the high
Unless you
frets.
get used to it.
The high frets. I've got big hands and fingers and stuff. And
Well, just
I get
the
pretty
string
cramped
spacing too is
sometimes.
different. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the scale.
Hey,
length.
Janice. Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy, but it's just like I can't. The other 3 weeks ago, I went to go to one of my students' rehearsal spaces. He wanted me to dial in his amp, so we sat there working on his amp because he had it set really. My issue with a lot of people when they go play live is they don't play bright enough, or thin enough because everyone's competing for a space. So you get the bass player and everyone's in that fucking mid-range. You go listen to records and listen to the guitar that's isolated, you'll hear and everyone's going to go, oh my God, that thing sounds so thin. Yes, it finds its space. That way you don't have to sit there and crank crazy volume. So we went to his rehearsal space and afterwards he's like, hey, play my Les. And he's got some beautiful Les Pauls. And I picked one up and played and I'm just like, do I even know how to play the guitar? What the fuck am I doing on this thing? I had no idea.
And
It's so uncomfortable to me.
I use the same sort of theory as a bass player when I'm on stage or I'm rehearsing with somebody or something, and they're like, bro, your bass amp is so loud. And I'm like, hey, man, don't worry about it. It's in a completely different frequency range than your guitar. So they'll be able to hear you. Just go about your business. Let me play my bass at the volume I
Nothing
want
to
play.
see here. Go about your business. Nothing to see here. Yeah, I go nuts because I used to fill in for a jam band. They used to do it. They were a blues band that used to do. They would do blues gigs and then they would do open jams. They were the host band, and I would constantly have words with the bass player saying, "Dude, if you don't pull some of the mids out of that fucking bass, I am going to smash that fucking thing over your head." It was like there was no room. All you could hear on the stage was that fucking bass.
I'm gonna
You know,
get
it's
the
like-
shotgun. I'm gonna strip you naked and chase you in the woods.
No, but if you think about bands like Yes and Rush, those guys have a little bit of overdrive on their guitars. You know, some people sit there and say, "Oh, that's the sound of the fucking Rickenbacker bass." Oh, really? You think that's what a Rickenbacker sounds like? Distortion? No, that's called drive. They're using a drive pedal, or they have drive on the amp. That drive thins out sound. It compresses the sound and thins it out. That's why that you can hear them, and the separation in those bands is so great, especially Rush. I mean, 3 guys, you can hear every little fucking thing going on in every song.
Mm-hmm.
They just mixed great, you know what I mean? And that gives, the way Geddy plays in his sound, it gives Alex a lot of room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not so much room, but a lot more room than maybe most. But, and then you got, you know, Geddy comes in with those keyboards and takes that complete mid-range where his vocal is. Well, he's playing the typewriter. That was that. But yeah, interesting. So before we jump into the camera, I mean, no, sorry, that was Krell's cat.
Somebody's got some pussy.
Come on, get down. Don't yell.
Got to get up to get down.
Unbelievable.
So I was getting some heat from some people that watch the show. Yes, Judd, you know it's you. No, it makes a great point. Lately, we've been talking a lot about metal bands and Witchfinder General. Bands I've never even heard, but a lot of metal stuff. And a lot of guitar players fucking are drawn to metal. especially when they're like 13, 14, 15. And, that's what you find when you go to like an Yngwie show or Metallica. A lot of 14-year-old boys so excited to see Kirk Hammett do hammer-ons. But to me, that music is okay, but it's not the end-all, be-all. So I wanted to bring up, and maybe you guys can fill in some gaps, some records from 70s, 80s, and 90s that you think people wouldn't know about that you thought was a fucking fantastic album. And I'll just start by saying the whole thing that got me thinking about this is when Judd made that comment to me. I'm like, listen, Elvis Costello, This Year's Model, is one of my all-time favorite albums. I don't know who in the chat knows that album.
Is that the one where he's got the camera on the album cover? Okay.
And do you know, want to hear something? Do you know that he wanted to look pissed off behind the camera? So they would play Hotel California because he fucking hates that song. While they were doing the photo shoot, they were cranking Hotel California. But I'll tell you right now, whatever you think of Elvis Costello, he's had some not so great albums. He's had some really great records. I mean, I can think of 4 or 5 that are fantastic. But This Year's Model's the tops. From the first song to the end of that record, everything on it is fucking great. So if you haven't listened to Elvis Costello, This Year's Model, definitely check it out.
I'm just curious.
On that one?
No, that's on the album before.
We never went around the horn about guitars that we like the looks of and stuff.
I just wanted you to say it out. When you didn't say anything, I figured you guys weren't saying anything.
Well, I just want to say Rickenbacker.
Oh, yeah. But they look
the guitars. I always like.
Well,
no, I
that was
used to
his
like the
point,
black
Dave,
and
was
white
that-
ones, the Beatles.
That was the point, is that we did the guitars that look good, but we don't like how they play. And he's talking
Yeah,
about
exactly.
guitars that look like ugly as fuck, I guess.
Right, Rickenbackers are the
I
ugliest guitars.
I don't think the black and white Rickenbackers I thought looked good, but then they had that harsh radius and the small necks. And but
The
anyways,
12 strings are unplayable. The necks were so thin on those 12 strings, it's ridiculous.
Mhm.
But anyway, any records you guys grew up listening to that you think people wouldn't know? And when I say people, I mean, like your typical guitar player, metal community that eats Cheetos while they watch this and they have Cheeto dust all over their pants.
Well,
kidding.
being here in
joking.
Phoenix, living in Phoenix, we have a local band called Icon. And they were on Capitol Records. Their first 2 albums were on Capitol. This was early 80s. Dan Wexler was the lead guitarist in the band. And I always thought that Icon was a kick-ass rock and roll metal band from the early 80s.
But if they're metal, I'm trying to avoid the metal. I'm saying something that's not the cliche of what this room has been
Oh, I've got one.
talking about. Ricky Compton just said Joe's Garage. Saying a Frank Zappa album amongst guitar players is like fucking just walking around with fucking pack needles of heroin to junkies. We get it. Every fucking metal guy likes Zappa. It's guitar-oriented music. I'm talking about not guitar-oriented.
So I got one, Dave. Back in the late 80s, I managed a record store, and there was I got turned on to a lot of music. I remember one CD that we played a lot was this band called Shriekback, and the album was called.
I remember Shriekback. It was
Yeah,
90s, wasn't it?
No,
Or
they were late
80s?
80s. This was called Oil and Gold. Was the name of the album, and it still stands up. I mean, it's worth checking out.
All right, there we go. Joe, any records? I know you're like a metal dude.
I brought it up before. It's not really a metal album. Phenomena.
Oh yeah.
you
That
brought it
was
up
the
before.
Love that album.
prog rock band.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still,
Teach the
again,
right.
that still falls under like what metal dudes listen to, as opposed to like, I mean, so in the '90s, I thought one of the best albums in the '90s for me was Maxwell's Urban Hang Suite by Maxwell. If you guys like soul R&B, you're Home Alone.
Haven't heard of
Got
that.
some lotion. No, it's some dirty R&B. It's great stuff. I mean, it is one of the best fucking records. But I mean, as far as like Parliament Maggot Brain, I give up.
Cheech knows what I'm talking about. On your feet, stand and be counted.
The thing is,
Ricky Compton says Parliament Maggot Brain. The title track, by the way, is like a 10-minute guitar solo.
Pretty much anything by Tangerine.
I wasn't going to bring up the Blue Nile just because I brought it up too many times on this show.
well, anyways, if I bring up an album, I mean, it's not going to be a surprise to Dave. It's probably not going to be a surprise to anyone in here. But it's like, like Devo, Duty Now for the Future.
On my list, on my short list of great records from the 70s.
That's 70s, 80s. I'm going to bring up Talk Talk, Color of Spring. I always bring that up. 90s, Imperial Drag.
I love that
It's
album.
like, yeah, you turned me on to that.
Love that record.
And also the original Jellyfish albums.
I saw
Bill
Imperial
Melton.
Drag live at the Viper Room in '96. They were fucking great.
An album.
Just to say, go Joe.
An album I think is perfect from the first song to the last song is The Outfield Play Deep.
Yeah, you brought that up before.
I love
That's
that
right.
fucking album.
So I was thinking more like albums that people wouldn't know. So like I was a huge fan of this guy, David Sylvian, and he has an album called Gone to Earth. He was the lead singer of a band called Japan, which if you're from England on watching this, everyone knows who they are. But if you're not from England, no one knows who they are. Also, I'm a big Bill Nelson fan, and his album Getting the Holy Ghost Across was a friggin' great record.
Oh, what is that?
Robbie Robertson's solo album in 1987. Fantastic.
Are you talking Bill Nelson from Bebop Deluxe?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sunburst Finish.
Yeah. Well, that was Bebop Deluxe. He had a solo, his solo record from '86, Getting the Holy Ghost Across, I think from front to back is a perfect. I mean, I love every song on that record.
Did you ever listen to Tangerine Dream?
I had a buddy that tried to turn me on to them in the late '80s, and they were cool. It's like instrumental stuff, a lot of soundtrack music.
They were hitting this.
Risky Business soundtrack was like around 80%.
Yeah.
Tangerine Dream.
They did a lot of great soundtracks, but that's some cool stuff.
Yeah. In fact, Don Hall, the Robbie Robertson's second solo album he did, which I think is called Storyville, the Blue Nile sing on a song with him. They play with him on something. I also liked, there's a rap record called Guru Jazzmatazz that I love. Guru was from Gang Starr, and Jazzmatazz is him and Donald Byrd bringing all these Blue Note jazz guys together, and these singers of acid jazz in England come sing with them, like India Davenport, Carlene Anderson. I mean, it's a great record. I don't know if anyone would go out there and listen to this stuff because there seems to be like a lot of Metallica fans in my audience, which tells me they're atonal.
I remember a 90s rock / sort of a hip hop kind of thing, Fungo Mungo.
I've actually heard of them, but I
Fungo
don't know.
Mungo, man, those dudes were awesome.
Yeah, don't know it.
You were into modern rock style of using a lot of they almost had a DJ hip hop sort of guy half the time kind of vocals.
Well, I don't know if you guys were Fishbone fans, but before Fishbone took that heavy metal turn in '90, in '86 they had an album called In Your Face that was like a new wave R&B record, and it was I love that album. To me, that's still one of my favorite Fishbone.
You know what?
records.
We have to mention Spies.
Well, that's metal again.
Well, strength in numbers, but it's like Yeah, that's right. It's
Try to get away. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to bring up music that's not like.
Yeah, Well, if you do Gumbo Millennium, I mean, there's some funky stuff on that too.
Kate Bush, Hounds of Love.
There
Photomaker.
was one artist.
Oh, I like
there,
that
really
album.
dug, and
Who said that?
Matt.
Oh no, but I thought you were reading it from somewhere. Oh, I love that Hounds of Love. Running Up
Yeah.
That Hills on that record. I love that record.
Yeah, that
I also
song's
like
made a
Never-
resurgence.
I also like Never Forever.
Mhm.
The album before that with Army Dreamers and Babushka. I
Mhm.
fucking love her.
Yeah, she's great.
Dave
And
loves Bush.
she also did. I actually don't. She also did. Thank you. She also did a song called "This Woman's Work"
Mm-hmm.
that Maxwell did a cover on. I brought up Maxwell's Urban Hang Suite. He did a cover of "This Woman's Work," and it used to piss me off anytime someone would sing it on American Idol. And fucking what's his name, Randy Jackson would be like, "Oh, you dog, that's a Maxwell joint." No, honey, no, you fucking asshole. It's fucking Kate Bush. He's just doing a cover.
You know who kind of like discovered her, right?
David Gilmour.
David Gilmour, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he got a cold. She was like 16. He discovered her, all right. I
David
was
Gilmour
cured.
likes Bush.
Yes.
I was cured, all right.
Clockwork Orange.
I've always
Yeah,
been
they-
a fan of. I've always been a fan of Nick Gilder. I know he had the huge "Hot Child in the City" song, but the first
Yeah,
three
that was pretty
albums
skeevy.
were really awesome. Saturday morning bubblegum rock and roll style of music.
I loved his voice.
Yeah, he had that high, very feminine.
Well,
squeaky.
that's because he used to be a chick.
Creepy.
No, but Bill, but when he sang the like young girl dressed in black, she's a
Well, I know, but
hungry
you say he's got
I
that
know.
high feminine voice. It's because he was a
and
woman.
that wasn't his
Right.
only. Tons of sexual innuendo in all of his songs. His first three albums were great. And he also wrote that song for Scandal, "The Warrior." He wrote that, or he co-wrote that song.
Oh,
And
Yeah,
then
it
in
does sound
about
like
the
a Nick
mid-
Gilder.
In about the mid '80s, he put out another record, and his music styling has changed. It changed, and he started sounding like Eddie Money kind of songs
It's taking
in mid '80s. But his late '70s,
I dug
early
him.
'80s stuff is awesome. I dig that stuff.
Yeah. I always dug that song. In fact, when I played in my band FM station, I kept on bringing that song up. I wanted to do that. I wanted to do Sniffing the Tears driver's seat, and I couldn't get anybody on board.
Oh yeah, that's
Driver's seat's a great song.
yeah.
You didn't have anybody to do the bass vocal part.
Yeah.
I used to
Driver's
karaoke "Hot Child in the City," man. That was one of my go-to karaoke tunes
Boogie Nights soundtrack.
out at the bar 20 years
And the
ago.
song Tempted by Squeeze. Do you know who does the deep voice in that? But I keep
Michael
my
McDonald.
food.
That's Tilbrook.
No. When
Different.
it goes, but I keep my food.
Yeah, well, in the video he does.
Right, but it's Elvis Costello.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna see how we're going full circle back to this year's
Yeah.
model, folks.
I had this.
Next
I
week,
had this,
everyone needs to listen to this year's model and get back to me. It's a great look. Pump It Up is on that album.
I
Radio's
was
on that
taking out
album.
this girl for a little while, and she was way too young for me. But I would still, we became friends, but her name was Allison, and I turned her on to that song, and I used to sing Allison, and I'd hold her hand and everything.
Now she hates you for it.
Name
'cause
is
she's
true.
like,
Yeah,
everyone
it's-
does it.
She lived.
Cheech says you guys like Aldo Nova's work. I love the first album. I
it's
thought,
rocking.
I thought every song in it was good. The second
Ball
album
and
was what,
Chain,
Monkey on Your Back.
Yeah.
Ball and Chain's a great song. Under the Gun was good. I mean, when you think about it now, it's really a cheesy record. If I went back and listened, because now I'm hearing some of the melodies in my head, I'm like, Cheese Whiz.
Yeah.
But I liked that Cheese Whiz when I was 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Countdown
You know
to
what I mean?
Leopard Skin and Lasers reference.
Yeah. No. But you have the Sniffing the Tears.
I don't know any other songs by Sniffin' and Tears other than that song.
There's a great interview with the guy. He's a painter now. The singer that wrote that. Yeah, that's a great song. But no, Aldo Nova, I liked. I did like Monkey on Your Back. I think it was the third album. I was like, this is done. And I didn't realize how short he was. I guess in high heels, he's 4'11".
Well, he can marry Udo Dirkschneider.
He was beat out of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Deep Roy.
Oompa Loompa. Yeah.
Remember Deep Roy?
Oh yeah, I remember Deep. He was cool.
Yeah, great guy.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, totally.
It's like so funny that he's coming into Gold's Gym. It's like okay,
Yeah.
you're not gonna.
And he wasn't a midget. He was just a little guy.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the difference. A midget.
No, he's a midget,
No,
not a dwarf.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Armed Forces is a great record. I also think Get Happy is good. But for me, the top three Elvis records are, in my opinion, I like This Year's Model, Goodbye Cruel World, and Punch the Clock.
I think what
Those are the-
happened with me is I had his greatest hits on a CD, and that's what I would listen to. So I don't
Oh,
know
that's
what
a
was
great
on
one.
that
The
album.
green one that came out, the Ryko. I think it was.
Yeah, I've got
it was
that one.
That's a great. That's a great one.
Actually,
That's a great
Veronica's not on that one.
Veronica was a Warner Brothers. It's
Yeah,
not
I
on the
think
same
that's why.
label. That's why it was the second half of his career. Like he actually did one called Extreme Honey, which is the greatest hits of the Warner Brothers stuff with like The Other Side of Summer and Deep Dark Truthful Mirror and hey now Eric Johnson. So yeah, but Elvis is great. I like Elvis Costello a lot, especially this year's model. To me, if someone said to me, you could buy one album from him, I would just say this year's model. And if you could buy one album from Nick Gilder, I would say go buy this year's model from Elvis Costello. I'm kidding.
Nick Gilder was Canadian.
Yes, he was.
Again, I describe his music as Saturday morning bubblegum rock. You know what I'm saying? It was very cartoonish, but innuendos, sexual innuendo was in almost every song.
I thought he hit it well in Hot Child in the City. No, I didn't.
It was creepy.
That song even has a radio mix. There's an extended part on Hot Child of the City that a lot of stations just stopped playing. And then they radio edited to make it smaller or shorter.
The
Okay.
Pantera
No, Eric.
tribute was not discussed. Although I watched a song, I watched them do I don't know, Cowboys from Hell today with Zach playing guitar.
I've seen some of that too. What do you guys think about that?
It's a
I
money
got no
grab.
problem with it.
I have no problem. I wouldn't go, but watching it there, I don't. You know what? It was weird the way he was playing it because Zach was playing the riff really high on the neck, and to me, the thing sounds better. And I don't. It sounds low to me.
Well, the
Yeah,
very,
it's like
the very beginning intro of it is up higher, somewhere around the 12th fret. But
Joe, what
to
is
me, that
does he play at 12th fret or the 7th fret?
I think it was the 12th.
Dimebag.
I think.
Yeah,
what is it-
I
what is
know
the
when it
language?
goes into a rhythm, it's like
yeah, it's down low.
it's down the
Joe,
low
what do you-
thing. And
What are you posting in the private? I
I'm
can't
trying to
make out.
type in the YouTube. It's not posting. My keyboard is not working anywhere but the private fucking chat.
Oh, that's weird.
I don't know what the fuck is going on.
user
Yeah,
error.
I didn't know what was going on when I was reading S.
I didn't. Even, I literally just noticed it like a second before you did.
Because all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second, why do I?
I think what's
odd.
okay with Pantera right now is they have the original singer.
Yeah,
And they
and
got a
bass
great
player.
guy on guitar that's very popular. Everybody knows him and loves him. They got the original, they got the great drummer from Anthrax, right?
Tracks, Charlie Benante.
So
Yeah, no, I think they look
between
like
all
a
of
good
it,
band.
I
It would
thought
be
it was
fun if
great.
It's
if
not-
I was
Look,
like,
it's a tribute, and the guys filling in were like best
Exactly.
friends with the guys that unfortunately passed away, the Abbott brothers.
but they're not
Correct.
calling it a tribute. They're calling it Pantera, which it's not.
Okay.
You know,
no, I think they
because-
called it a
Okay,
But
tribute.
everyone knows it's not Pantera. It's Pantera, but it's not Pantera.
Okay,
Pan
well, they're still
tribute.
calling it Pantera.
Pan tribute.
Yeah.
Hey, they
It's like
fucking
that
call it
sounds
Queen.
like
You can't
Foreigner.
call it Queen without Freddie Mercury, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
Well, that's why they called it Queen and Paul Rogers and Queen
Uh,
and Adam Lambert.
Okay.
Well,
case
with Queen and Adam Lambert, they should called it another Queen.
Case in point. Case in point. Okay, you've got the singer and the bass player. What if David Lee Roth and Michael Anthony?
That
went out
was
and
my
called it
exact
Van
thought.
Halen?
Let's get
You know,
Roth
you
and
can't
Michael
have Van
Anthony
Halen
together and
without-
put a giant
Yeah,
Van
but that
Halen
was named
poster
after
behind
Eddie
it.
Van Halen. It's
Doesn't
not like
matter.
it's like
Doesn't
wasn't
matter. The Abbott brothers were the heart and soul of that band, and you take
I don't
that
know
away.
if the singer. It's a great question. Let's discuss this a little bit more. Hold on. If a singer stays in the band with one other member,
Mhm.
I mean, that's Quiet Riot.
well,
They don't
That's-
even have the singer. They just got the bass player.
What?
well, that's the latest version. He's talking about the one that did.
I'm
Metal
talking
Health.
about it was just the singer basically has stuck around throughout all the
the
years.
Metal Health
I-
Quiet Riot.
But
was
I
really
understand what
like
you're
that.
saying. You mean after Success? I mean, Heart's not the
This is-
same band. they had 3 guys left, and three new guys came in. As long as it's an Ann and Nancy.
Yeah, it's,
But
So
I
it looked
think
like-
no, but I understand what you're saying because you're saying he's the see for me, it's not Pantera, but they can call it Pantera because they're just trying to because for the people that are going, they know that it's Pantera with with obviously the 2 of the guys are dead and they got a couple of replacements, but it's to give people the experience to go see it live. I have no issue with it.
Who's the
I think
headliner
Phil
on that
sounds
show?
great.
If they started putting out records and calling it Pantera, maybe.
And the other thing is, I don't think any other people could have been fill in than Zach and Charlie. I think if they had picked 2 other people, no one would have went for it. No one.
Oh, I don't know. I think Satriani could have done it.
Get the fuck out of here. You know I love him.
Well, I think you're right with the guitar player, but with the drummer, I think there were other drummers that could have come in and done that.
Absolutely. And the,
What do
the
you don't
audio
think you don't think
is
another guitar
fantastic.
player could have went in and done that job?
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
not
I'm
be
sure
as
they would have
I
played
mean,
it
like
better.
not be the draw that Zach Wilde is. And,
Well, that's
with the
different to
connection and
say.
stuff, that's-
Yeah,
Oh, there's plenty that could play the songs, but I mean, it's like,
right,
well, they
That's
picked
what-
Zach because of his relationship with Daryl. That's-
Yeah.
right.
I mean, one of my favorite reviews was the guy was saying, and you have everyone playing Pantera, and there's Zach being Zach, because Zach's only going to be Zach. But I'm fine with it. I got no
It
problem.
didn't look like anybody in the audience was upset about what was going on. I mean,
Nah,
they
but you always got the purists that are gonna be pissed.
Bouncing.
Right.
You know,
Some people in the crowd are going to be like, "That's not the way George Harrison played that chord."
Oh, I'm not pissed about it. I just think that
No, no, I understand. Yeah.
I think it's Phil and Rex, going for the money. That's,
Oh, you think? I don't know if I would say it's all money. I would say they may want to go out there and play those songs again. Because just imagine if you were in a band and you co-wrote songs with another guy, and then that guy drops, gets shot, and you're like, I'm never going to perform those songs again with the band.
well, if you knew anything about the relationship between Phil and the brothers,
No, I know they may not have liked
What
each
about
other.
Rex? What about Rex, the bass player? What was his
Well,
relationship
Phil
like?
wasn't even allowed to go to Daryl's funeral.
Yeah,
That's
but
how
what
much they
about
were-
Rex? Rex was the bass player. He was part
Okay,
of the
but you
band.
can't-
He
you
helped
can't base
write.
the whole
He didn't-
band on a
he
bass
did
player.
all those early rehearsals. He went to all those bar gigs out on the road. He was in the bus. He was on the plane. Rex, the bass player, he deserves to be out on that stage and to continue
Well,
to use
true,
that
but
name.
he also kind of followed Phil when they couldn't get him to come back in and do Pantera, and he was off doing his thing. Instead of sticking with the brothers, he went off and went with Phil. So
I don't know.
Which brothers were harder to work with? The Abbott brothers or Van Halen?
no,
I'm joking.
I think the Abbott brothers look more chill than Van Halen was.
those 2 brothers from Oasis that don't even talk after 20 years.
Right. Or the 2 brothers in the Black Crows.
Yeah, the Robinsons.
I don't know.
What's up with brothers getting in bands and then not talking?
That's fucking
It's
weird.
hard to deal with your brother.
I heard Alex doesn't talk to Eddie anymore. So,
Yeah.
From what I've read about,
No,
the
actually,
Van
he's been
Halens-
talking more to Eddie these days.
from what I've seen about the Van Halens, those guys used to get in like fist fights and shit, and they were like go at it, and then they'd make up. But of course, it's still like they were both alcoholics at the time. So what do you expect?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which was true about the Abbotts too. I
Who's
guess.
the most successful brothers that are still out there and just rocking it out? And there are 2 guys, they're brothers. They're doing good. Who's successful besides
Still out there?
Sparks.
Sparks.
The male brothers?
Yeah, what brothers have gotten together, put a great band together, and they don't fight with each other?
Well, I don't know if it's
Mario
a great
Brothers.
band, but that Greta Van Fleet has 3 brothers in it.
Greta, there you go. How are they doing?
I think they're doing all right. I mean, I don't follow them, but I know
Yeah,
3 of them are
Leos.
brothers, and the only one that's not a brother is the drummer, I think.
Right.
They're working on their 4th album right now, and they're not going to have a name for it. It's just going to use 4 symbols for each guy.
Stairway to Heaven.
Wow, that's great. No one's ever done that.
Yeah.
Dime was 38 when he died. That was it.
No,
Yeah.
he was. I thought he was younger for some reason. Okay, well, it was 2004, so I was 36. Yeah, he was 38. Correct. I remember he was 2
Yep,
years.
he was
older than I
38 years old. 3 days from now is the anniversary.
Wow. And when did Vinny die?
Probably like 5 years ago, heart attack.
Not that long ago.
Yeah, it's not been that long.
Yeah, because I went and saw Hell Yeah when they were on the same bill with
2018.
Slayer.
Okay,
last,
4 years ago.
So I went and saw him in like probably 17. For
4
that
years
Slayer
and
show
what?
with the Hell Yeah.
4 years and 5, almost 6 months. So
Ruffalo
4.5
quoted the
years.
stylistics. Dime would be 54. He was born in 68.
I thought
No,
he
he's
was
born
in
66. He would be 56 right now.
Yeah, 66.
Oh, okay. 56.
No, he's born 66.
Oh.
54 years old.
Huh? No, I'm 54. He's 2 years older than I am.
Vinny Paul was 54.
Oh, Vinny.
Oh,
okay.
Vinny was younger, huh?
No, he was the older brother, but he died at 54.
Dave, what was the best year of your life? How old were you? What was the best year of your life
I have no
as
idea.
far as your age?
I have no idea. Every year is a
You
good
never,
year.
you
21
never
was
sat around
great.
and said, "Man, when I was 28, man, that was awesome."
No. In fact, when someone starts doing that, I walk away. I hate Glory Day, guys. I won't be seriously. When
It's the
people sit there
lowest
and they
form of
start,
conversation.
it really remember when. You know what? This year was a great year for me. I had a great year. Great year. Yeah. Every year is good. I don't look back like it's crazy. Like people said, "Oh man, remember when I was in high school?" Yeah,
Oh, dude,
I'm out of here.
The people that
I'm gonna
peaked,
the old dust. I
people
can't
that
take
peaked
it.
in high school are the
nothing-
worst.
There's nothing wrong with recalling it. It's just dwelling on it then.
Oh, it's
Hey,
exactly.
about a week ago, I'm sitting here at my store, and a guy comes in, and he's just kind of staring at me, and he's just wandering around. And I'm like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" And he's like, "Dane?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Goes, "Dude, we went to high school together, class of 1981." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Corona del Sol, Tempe, Arizona." I'm like, "Yeah, I went there." And he goes, "You sold me an Ibanez distortion pedal for $10 on the staircase."
That's like a drug deal.
He's like, "It stopped working. Is there any way I can get a refund?"
Apparently, I sold him an Ibanez pedal for $10 in 1981 on the
It
staircase.
worked until last year. I've been trying to hunt
You
you
know,
down since
The
then.
best part of that story is he's talking about Udo Dirkschneider.
Right. You went to school in Tempe, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
My
I like
senior year,
Tempe a lot.
my,
It's beautiful.
My sophomore and junior year, I was in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
And so going from Columbus, Ohio to brand new Corona del Sol out here where everything's all brand new, it was kind of culture shock.
Oh yeah, Tempe's beautiful. I even like Northern Tempe, Old Scottsdale. Fucking great.
Mhm.
What's that Mexican? I think it's a Mexican restaurant where they limo drive everyone to the. They have like a limo service. They pick up and drop off to the bar.
Taco Bell.
We have a lot of Mexican food places, and actually,
That's not
to
true.
It's
That's
old
not
Scotts.
Mexican
It's in Old Scottsdale, right on Scottsdale Road.
I don't know because I'm down here in Chandler.
We were
But,
there We were there one night, and we were like, I said to the waiter, "What the hell is going?" It was a Tuesday night. I go, "What the hell is going on here?" The place was packed.
Oh, there's a Dos Gringos.
And he goes, "Oh, I know, it's so dead." I'm like,
That's
"This is
dangerous.
dead." They got limos driving people. Like you just tell the limo where you live, they'll drive you home, so you don't have to drive. That place, no, and there was a good breakfast place in Old Scottsdale too. Really good breakfast place.
Charles Barkley was arrested DUI up in Old Town Scottsdale, probably about
Oh,
10
really?
years ago. Yeah, Charles Barkley. We get a lot of there's a lot of DUIs up in Scottsdale. That's where the basketball players go and party and they get in big trouble. And, you know,
Yeah.
Arizona
lot of money
Cardinal
up there.
football
It's nice.
players go up there and get in big trouble.
Yeah. I dig it out there. I like Scottsdale. I like Tempe a lot. One of my good friends was a cop in Tempe for years, and then he moved to LA. Remember Mike Riley?
Who, me?
Yeah.
That name sounds familiar. Yeah.
He worked at Gold's, and then he was a trainer over at Fit.
Oh man, I'd have to see the
You know
face.
Mike.
I know
Yeah.
I do. I just
He was a
I'm not
cop in
recalling.
Tempe before he came to Gold's.
Oh, okay.
I can't find that restaurant. I looked up for Mexican restaurant with the limo service, but some restaurants came up like Cachina Madrigal.
Yeah. What road?
I think there's a place called Dos
Um,
Gringos. That was
well-
always a lot of fun.
That's
Dang.
on.
I got a question for Dane.
Oh, that's actually in Phoenix. That's not
Okay.
Scottsdale.
Dane, what's that blue beauty over your shoulder? Go get that.
Oh,
Have you
this
shown
thing?
that? Yeah, what is that?
That's just a Squire parts caster that I put together.
Looks nice. I see a maple neck. I go, oh, that's
yeah.
nice.
You get the right Squire. I mean,
I bought
like
the body and it had the Wilkinson bridge in it for $20. And it's never been cut out where it's never had a back plate on it.
Wow.
Let me ask you this question. Did you put the neck on yourself?
I did. It's a little Squire neck. And when I put parts casters together, I put my little Zims Guitars sticker on the back.
Well, because the problem I always have
what
with
do you do?
Squires.
Sell those?
Yeah.
No, I don't usually sell them unless somebody begs me for them.
I tell you, those early Squire standards, like early 2000s, they were full size bodies and they were solid alder.
But does it
And
have
I
a
made
standard
parts.
neck pocket or is it a smaller
I
neck
sanded
pocket?
the back. I took my sander out and sanded it, and I worked the fret ends until you
You
can. they're
massaged it.
close to-
You're naughty.
Yeah.
Put the lotion in the basket.
Does the was the neck pocket standard size or was it shallower?
It was standard size. The neck, Squire neck, fit right in.
Oh, but it used a Squire neck.
Gallop the frets.
I worked on the fret ends and
Let
I
me s-
polished them, and they're
Those are
they're
tiny
You got-
frets.
You got any
Yeah.
calipers? I want a measurement of the thickness of that neck by that pocket. I think that's the problem is anytime I see someone selling a Squire for cheap, I'm like, what can I do with it? I can't put a neck on it because the neck pocket is shallow compared to a Strat.
Yeah.
Depends what year. The early
That's
2000s were standard size.
Yeah.
Usually you can't interchange parts from the U.S.
Hang
or
on,
Mexico
I'll grab mine.
stuff with the Squire stuff. You just can't.
Correct. That's right. That is
But
correct.
my son looked up what the Japanese artwork on here, and it says "love hate."
Oh,
Interesting. It's a cool looking blue.
it is
I can
nice.
see why Joe likes it. But let me see the headstock again. The headstock could be the it's almost like a fender.
Yeah.
So I had an Iron Maiden sticker. And so I
like
just cut
AID,
part of
okay.
the Iron Maiden out, and so I put an AID on there.
Great, you
And
guitar got AIDS.
I took some clear coat and I cleared it, and then I would sand it down a couple days later. And I just in my spare time I mess with guitars.
Any thoughts on the 24 fret Dave Mustaine Les Paul that keeps leaking on social media? I think the 22 fret and pickup spacing is fundamental to the Les Paul sound. Molly Hatchet's debut album. I don't know which one their debut is. Oh yeah, I do. It had was Dreams I'll Never See on that?
Disaster.
No, I think
Flirt
that
with
was Flirt with Disaster, the second one.
Was it?
I think they had one before it with what's the album with Dreams I'll Never See that the Allman Brothers cover.
I think it's on that album.
It is. It
Yeah,
could be.
sure.
I mean, I couldn't. I only know that Danny Joe Brown's in that band. I couldn't tell you.
I think that's. I think that is their first album. Has the
Flirt with
first album.
Disaster.
Flirt
I'm
with Disaster
driving
cover on it.
down the road. Oh, what's this? Now that's like a Sienna burst, right?
That's nice.
This is a cherry burst.
All right.
It's this is a 2003 Squire body. It's full thickness. It's a Mighty Mite neck on it from CEG. It's basically a Mighty Mite where they dress the frets and it's all nice.
Okay.
This actually feels like a Charvel neck more than anything. But
Gotta love
through
that.
the tone zone in there. And the single coils are stock Alnicos. They're fine pickups in there. Didn't need to change those out, but
Alnico, what?
Alnico 5s, I think.
All
A
right.
little odd tune.
We got a question about Coney Hatch.
Oh God.
That was a Canadian band too, wasn't it?
I haven't heard that name in a while.
I
we
think they
talked
were,
about that like a month or two ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we talked about it. I think Howie liked them. Remember, Joe?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
He was the big Coney Hatch fan.
Hey, Dave.
Coney
when you-
Hatch actually played it.
I'm not a big fan of the X2N by
What's the
DiMarzio.
X2N?
It's a
It's
DiMarzio
full-
pickup.
Yeah, it's like it's got the metal.
You like the
It's like-
blackouts?
it's
or is
not
that
rails,
Steve
but
Duncan's?
That's
it's
Duncan.
super high out.
I mixed the two of them
Yeah.
up in my head.
They look like the Bill Lawrence pickups that Dimebag used.
Kinda, yeah. I think
we
the metal
want-
strip is thicker in the.
Yeah.
Do we want to do a list? I got lists saved.
Oh yeah, here we go, folks. Yeah,
There
we
we
were
go.
at that point.
Let's
I
do
definitely
another.
wanted to get the other stuff off the.
AM
the
radio
docket.
hits of 1973.
Top 10. Now, I don't know if they're saying this is top 10, but there's 10 listed. So what else would it be?
That's top
Guitarists
10.
of the 60s.
What?
Ooh.
The what of the 60s?
Now, I got from 50s up to 90s, and I figured we wouldn't do 50s unless you wanted to.
The what
Oh,
of the
50s.
60s?
Best
Guitarist.
guitarist of the 50s.
Oh,
60s.
Best
Impressionist
guitar
painters,
players of the
Ralph.
60s.
Top 10 impressionist painters of the 60s.
All right, very good.
Number one.
Is
Jimi
Vic
Hendrix.
Tayback one of them? He played a painter on Columbo. All right, go ahead.
All right, starting at the bottom, we got George Harrison.
Dave's gonna
He's
love
number
that.
10.
I can't. I know. I
The
just. You know what? I just
1960s.
keep getting emails.
I know
so I'm
one
just
of my
trying to-
old-
Are they going to put
favorites isn't on
John
this
Lennon
list, and I'm
ahead of
pissed.
George Harrison? Or is John Lennon
No,
gonna
no,
be
no.
ahead of
John
George
Lennon
Harrison?
is not a good guitar.
Wait, who was number 10 again? I'm sorry.
George Harrison.
I think that's fair.
Okay, but
As long
is it
as
gonna be
as
fair
long as
that
McCartney's
John
on the list
Lennon
too,
is-
right?
As long as Ringo's number 9.
Number 9
Lennon
is
is 8.
Steve Cropper.
Steve Cropper. From the
Steve
Blues Brothers
Cropper.
band.
Number 9.
Cropper played on Son of a Preacher Man, all the Memphis stuff.
Midnight
Great
Hour,
player.
Oh, he was a Motown guy.
Green Onions.
No,
Oh,
Memphis.
Stacks. Right?
Oh, Memphis. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we got Dave Davies.
I knew they were going to mention that.
Nah.
I don't think Ray Davies agrees.
Kinda.
No way.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't think Dave Davies is as good as George Harrison.
What's his best guitar work out of all the old the Kinks from the 1960s?
You really got me.
No.
Well,
I mean, I like
apparently that's supposed
Victoria.
to be-
I like
that was
Waterloo
supposed to be Jimmy
Sunset.
Page that played on there. That solo is
No.
supposed to be Jimmy Page, I heard.
Might have heard that.
Yeah.
Then we move up. We got Pete Townsend from The Who.
Number 7.
Hey.
Is that
Yeah,
7?
number 7. That would be 7. They don't list them by number, but that would
Okay,
be
so
7.
again, I always knock Pete Townsend. I fucking love Empty Glass, that solo album from 1980.
Great.
I
album.
also think back in those days, this guy was playing a loud motherfucking amp and controlling that beast, and he did well with it. I mean, I think any one of us goes and plays his rig back then, we're all going to sound pretty bad.
Coming in
Yeah, there's no hiding
number
from
6, we got Peter Green.
Love him.
Yeah, he's great.
So tell me.
I
a
love
little
Peter
bit
Green. In
about Peter
fact,
Green.
Oh Well is such a great fucking song from back then. He was great. I also liked his personality until he started doing LSD. Go on.
Number 5, Keith Richards.
He's a little high. on the list.
What band was Keith in?
Keith Richards is of all the things he's never been just a little high. He's been a lot high.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're talking in the 60s. I don't think Keith was better than Peter Green.
No way.
Or even Mick, the other guitar player that was in the Stones in the '60s.
Brian Jones.
Brian Jones.
He wasn't-
no,
he
he was
wasn't that
he was
good.
better than Brian Jones.
Yeah, Brian.
He
Jones
was a lot
that
better
good.
than Brian Jones.
Who's the guy that took over after Brian Jones?
Oh, Mick Jones.
Taylor.
Mick Taylor. I mean,
Taylor.
Mick Taylor's a great player.
Yeah.
Number 4, Frank Zappa.
Brian Jones, let me just say this.
Okay.
Brian Jones was a better swimmer than he was a guitar player.
Oh my God.
Ooh, that's terrible.
You're going to hell.
I really am.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I've been on notice for going to hell well before this job.
I had already said it. Number 4 was Frank Zappa.
Mm-hmm.
Really? In the
Yeah.
60s?
Who are the brain police?
Yeah, I just don't think he developed his style that great back then. All right. I'll take it into consideration.
Number 3, Jeff Beck.
Yep. Now, next one's going to be Jimmy
Here's
Page.
my problem.
And
I
then
think
number
Jimmy.
one's going to be
No, it's not going to be Jimmy Page. It's going to be Eric Clapton because Cream was in the 60s. They're not having Page on this list.
The Yardbirds.
I don't think
Dave
Jimmy
is
Page
ab-
makes-
Zeppelin was
absolutely
69.
Dave is absolutely on the fucking money.
Really?
I figured.
Clapton.
Yeah. Number 2 is Eric Clapton. Dave,
Of course. And
Who's
number one is
one?
Hendrix.
Hendrix.
Fucking Hendrix.
Fucking Hendrix.
I knew that was good.
Really, then they're going to include Beck at that time, but they're not going to include Page for 1969 for the Zeppelin album, and they're not going to include him for Yardbirds and all
He
his.
was in the
session
Yardbirds
work,
with
and-
Jeff Beck. In fact, they didn't want Jeff Beck in the band, and he said, "I'm going to go over to bass."
and he
Neil
was
Young?
the
Because
session
they were
Young
work.
childhood.
on that
They were
list? Or
childhood
his
friends.
Buffalo
Out of
Springfield?
all those people, Page was the only session guitar player.
Yeah. First of all, in my list, Page is number one.
Mm-hmm.
Hendrix, I don't know if he makes my top 4.
Steven Stills?
Well, he was the best guitar player in that band.
Well, there's one
Glenn
player from
Campbell.
the
I don't know
60s.
where you would put him, but I don't know how they don't have Leslie West on the list.
Yeah.
Well, he's
I
60s,
fucking love
70s,
Yeah, no, Leslie West was 60s.
70s,
60s.
70s.
Well,
Mm,
he played in the
69
'60s,
and
but his
10
big.
months.
Well, he
The
played
Mount-
at Woodstock. Mississippi
they played at
Queen and
Woodstock.
stuff, so it's like Mississippi Queen was '60s.
Okay, there's another Woodstock guy that never gets mentioned, who is actually
Alvin
Alvin
Lee.
Lee.
Alvin Lee, yes. Eddie
He was
Van
a good player.
Halen influence there.
I'm going home. I'm going home.
Hold on. Who do we
Mountain
say?
came out in 69.
Yeah, one was Mississippi Queen.
69.
69.
69, dude.
1970.
Alvin Lee and Leslie West both should be on there beside, instead of George Harrison and fucking, Davies.
Released in February of 70.
Gee, Davey.
Well, he ain't on the 70s
What about,
list.
what
so I'll
about the
bitch
guy
about
from
that then.
Chicago? Their first album was out in '69, wasn't it?
Yeah. But again, they made their bones you guys got to remember, fucking Hendrix died in
70.
September of 70.
Yeah.
But so most of his career was there. I mean, what's his name? Clapton put out, he did all the Cream records and the John Mayall Blues Breakers. Peter Green was in Blues Breakers, and he was also in Fleetwood Mac. Pete Townsend doesn't deserve to be on the list.
I think
either.
the 70s
I like him,
top
but
10 is much more lively. Are we ready to move?
yeah, let's move
All
on.
right.
1970s.
Starting out at number 10, Mick Ronson.
Fuck off. That's what I say. That's what I say to the person that made this list. I'm not a Mick Ronson fan. Like, I get it. Like, if you like that fuzz, glitter, what do you call that kind of music?
Glam.
Rock stuff. I mean, you may as well. Is Mick Ronson as good as, what was Andy's last name in fucking Sweet?
Oh, Andy. Oh, God. What the?
The guitar player. Andy
Yeah.
Scott? Is it Scott?
Yeah, maybe. He's the only living member too, I think. now.
Yeah, either way, it's like saying he's a better player than Mick Ronson was. I liked his playing. And he wrote Love is Like Oxygen, which is a great song.
Yeah, great song. He wrote better songs. I don't know. Did David Bowie write the riffs and say, Mick, play down, 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 or you know?
I don't
how
know.
did
I'm not
it
a
go
Mick
down?
Ronson fan. Although I do love Ziggy Stardust album. I love Moon Age Daydream and 5 Years. I love the whole record. It's great.
How about Glenn Buxton?
From
I know
Alice
that.
Cooper.
Alice Cooper?
Alice Cooper.
Old
Is that
Alice
on the
Cooper is
list? They
great.
have him
No,
on
he's
the
not
list?
on the list, but
Oh.
I like him better than whoever we're
Oh.
just talking about.
Who's the other Alice Cooper guy? Oh, Michael.
Well, Alice
Blues.
Cooper was Dick Wagner and Steve Hunter on the big records
Hmm.
in the 70s.
Okay, number 9, Ry Cooder.
Michael Bruce is a local guy.
Oh, Raikuda's awesome. I don't know if
Top 10 of the 70s. I love
that's a
Ry
tough
Cooder's a
one.
great slide player. But I'll tell you right now, if Dwayne Allman has him beat, I'm going to be pissed because Ry's
Oh, yeah.
a million times better than Dwayne on slide.
You got
What
a couple of
bands and
spots
what
that you're going to
band
get
was he
pissed
in?
on this one, Dave.
Ry Cooper.
Hendrix is
what
number
band
one.
was he in? What did he write? What? Tell me about what he did.
Ry Cooder worked
He
with the
played on
Stones.
everything.
Plays,
Okay.
yeah, he's a session guy, does soundtrack
okay.
work. He's a
He-
great
He
player.
played on Beefheart too, Trout Mask replica.
Yeah.
I think too.
But as a player, he's a monster. Go ahead. Who's set? Who's
I'm
what are we on
checking
8?
something Here, wait, let me just see.
We haven't heard Peter Frampton's name yet.
Shit.
I'm just curious where Gilmore is on this list.
Yeah, right. You can't beat Ry Cooder. All right. He was on the Crossroads soundtrack. He played all the
Yep.
blues.
Oh
parts.
yeah,
Fucking
Feeling
hell.
Glad Blues.
That is one of the best. All right. Going up to number 10, 9,
8?
number 8 is Angus Young from AC/DC.
Great player.
I love Angus.
Mhm.
I can't.
Number-
Nothing I can say about Angus. I love
No,
him. I love
you
his
can't.
tone.
Especially
Oh.
from the 70s.
I love his tone. Although today, after listening to Elvis Costello, because that was only about a 40-minute record, I had 20 minutes left. I listened to the second half of the Fly on the Wall album, and I was right. It stinks.
Mhm.
Come
Coming in
hella
at
high
number
water.
7.
That song blows.
Another powerhouse from the 70s that I think should be higher, personally, Tony Iommi, Black Sabbath.
Mhm.
I see they lump these SG players together on purpose. Get them in the same room. All right.
Number
Ace
6.
Frehley's not going to make this list. Is
Ace Frehley's going to make it. Yeah.
No, Ace Frehley's
They
not on
ain't
this
going to
list.
make it.
Think so?
Number 6,
Mick Ronson, yes, but no Ace Frehley.
Carlos Santana.
Dave's gonna have a conniption.
I was waiting for that face.
I'm going to have a conniption.
He sucks.
Worse.
Above Iommi, above Roy Cooder, above Angus Young.
Worst.
And I
Worst.
bet you Neil Sean's not even on this list.
No, and we should talk about the overlooks as well. I bitched and complained about Leslie West. He's not on this one either.
I'm in shock about Santana that people think he's good. The guy blows.
There was a
Worst.
video that came out today of a YouTuber I like, and I get my first 15-minute break is at noon. And by that time, I'm ready to put my head through a wall. So I run out of my office. I like to sit and watch a video. And I got this kid that's maybe 20, 21 telling me why Santana is so great. And I'm like, I'm not watching your fucking video. What the fuck do you know?
Right.
Fuck off. I don't care what you see on Instagram. Fuck yourself. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many of that. Why this is great.
Oh,
thank
fuck
you,
off.
Fucking,
How about my
Monday
top
morning.
10 list of why you should go fuck yourself?
there you go. I
There
want to
we
see
go.
that.
Next
All
week.
right. I meant to
Can
have
we
a
all
video-
agree Santana's the most overrated guitar player of all
I
time?
agree.
Said that last week.
There we go.
He is. He's the most overrated.
Yes, but he helped put Paul Reed Smith in the big 3 of guitar manufacturers in the world. Without Santana, we probably wouldn't even know about PRS guitars.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either.
They'd be a little
because
tiny
before
company.
that
They'd
he
be a
was
little
playing the
tiny
double
company.
cut. What was it, Yamahas?
Yeah, those are great
I
guitars.
remember lots of people playing Paul
The
Reed's before
SG
Santana.
2000s.
No, and I don't think the
2000s.
Santana model's a big seller. We couldn't fucking give those away with a fucking cup of coffee.
You might be right.
Yeah, the other shape is the
I just throw shit out.
which is enjoyable.
I'm just throwing shit out.
We're in the top 5. Coming in at number 5. You could argue he should be higher. Brian May from Queen.
Yeah, he
I
should be
like Brian
higher.
May a lot.
Love
He
Brian
should be
May.
higher.
Yeah, I would agree.
And if anyone wants to say that Guy hasn't done anything bad, I would point them to Starfleet Project.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I put Mr. Van Halen in that boat too.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
two of them together,
And then
butchering
the other two
blues.
guys that no one remembers.
Yeah,
Starfleet.
Who's this Asian?
that's
bass
the only
player?
good song on the whole record.
Yeah,
Is
the Asian
this-
bass player. He played with Rod Stewart.
Yeah, it's
Phil
like
Chen.
no one even remembers his name.
Coming in at number 4, Dave. This one's for you, buddy. Dwayne Allman.
Beat out Ryan Cooter.
Amazing that Dickie Betts is in the same band and he's a much better player. But because Dickie, you didn't die.
Yeah, because he lived.
Because you lived, you will now go down as never being in the top 20 of guitar players. But Dwayne, who I don't think plays as well as you, he gets all the accolades.
And because he was on a Eric Clapton song.
Yeah. And he also tried to get into the Swampers and they told him to go pound sand.
And he got stuck in a dryer.
Page has got to be in the top
With
3 here.
With Corey Chase.
We're at the top
Hampton
3
did-
now.
Better
Coming
be
in
on
at
ahead.
number 3. I have no problem with this. I could probably even put him maybe higher. David Gilmour, Pink Floyd.
David Gilmour.
Yeah, I love him.
Yep. No argument.
I love him.
Number 2. A man whose band names always have a color in it. Deep Purple, Rainbow. Richie Blackmore.
Was number 2.
He's number 2.
And number 1's Page.
Got to be.
Yeah, number 1 is Page.
All right.
I
Tom
love
Schultz
Richie
from
Blackmore,
Boston.
but I have to put, I got to put Gilmore, Brian May, Iommi.
Here's my thought about Richie Blackmore. I like a lot of what he did. I like the songs. I think Uli Roth and the Scorpions in the 70s played way
Uli's
better
fucking
stuff and is a
amazing.
much better player.
Yeah, Uli's not on the list.
Uli's fucking, he's not on the list. There we go. Who else should be on
He-
the 70s
He
list?
would
Gary
be my
Moore.
number. He would probably be
Gary
my number
Moore.
2.
Peter
No,
Frampton
Gary
had the
Moore wasn't
biggest
really. Well,
selling
the only thing he did in the
album of
70s.
1976.
78,
Yeah,
he
it
was,
was,
on Black
was just
Rose.
that one record.
In
That,
Coliseum too, as well, like a jazz rock.
And Tom Schultz of Boston, the largest selling first.
I would put him
album
on
in
there before Mick
history.
Ronson. I put Tom Schultz on
Exactly.
before Mick Ronson.
Tom Schultz played every instrument except drums on every song except one.
Mm.
Let Me
And
Take
Rick
You Home
Beato
Tonight, I
just,
think, was the only whole band.
Rick Beato just did a video a week or two ago. He got some early demo stuff of Boston, and he's playing that stuff, and just you see in his face where Rick Beato's like, "Oh my god!" And it's a fun
Was
video.
he
to
telling
watch.
you how great it was and what he was doing when he was 6 years old when he first heard it?
No, but he talked a lot about it. Was just fun hearing it.
No, he was older than 6 years
Doing the
old.
video.
Exactly. I was about to say the
Really
same
fun
thing.
Was he
hearing it.
enjoying it or
I
not
was
enjoying
freaking
it?
8 years old. So.
He was loving it. He's
Okay.
like, yeah. Peter Frampton and Tom Schultz are Rick Beato's like faves.
So I knew Tom years ago. He dated a girl that worked with me at a restaurant, and I used to go and shoot pool and throw darts with him over at this place in Boston called Harper's Ferry. And at one point, I think I may have talked about this on the show once, I pitched a product idea to him. I had to go through his attorney and everything. But I had this idea called the pickup joint. And it was a way, because I had just read Michael Schenker recorded an album and his guitar was in pieces every other song because they kept on rewiring different pickups in. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool if they just had like a way to snap in pickups and they would come with already wired. So basically, you would just put it in, screw it in, and then click it in, like a light bulb type of thing, or any type of socket. They didn't want it.
Yeah, you guys are missing the obvious though. Was Van Halen on the list?
No.
Fucking, he changed
but-
guitar in friggin' 1970.
I know, but I think because they're saying the whole
Dave Frost.
decade, and you're just taking a guy from 1 year. I think. I mean, I can see the logic behind it because.
Well, look at
Van
Mick Ronson. He was only popped up for a couple of years in the early 70s.
I don't want to
and
look
he
at Mick
disappeared.
Ronson. I don't believe he should be on the list. He wouldn't
Yeah,
be in my
it's like-
top 100.
So how is
I
Eddie
don't
Van
understand.
Halen not on there?
And I
Oh,
wanna
Billy
point
Gibbons.
out-
Well, just because he doesn't
Yeah,
belong in my
Billy
top
Gibbons.
100, I'm saying Eddie did more for the 80s than he did the 70s.
Yeah, Billy Gibbons.
Yeah, but he came in like a fucking freight train when he came.
Billy Gibbons should be high on that
Yeah.
list. Is right.
Yep.
A lot of these
Absolutely.
guys, they heard Eddie Van Halen playing his guitar, and they was like, "Well,
They shit a brick.
so much for that," and they set their guitars down.
No, but Santana kept
Gina
playing.
says the free guy. What was the free guy's name?
Kossoff, Paul Kossoff.
Paul Kossoff.
He
Yeah,
was good.
he was good. I also liked the guy Mick Ralphs
Oh, from Bad
from
Company.
Bad Company. I mean, these guys are not shaking
Mata
any.
Hoople.
fucking-
All right.
I thought Mick Jones was good in Foreigner.
That was a good Malta Hoopo album.
How about Steve Howe?
Steve Howe should be in
Bad
there.
tone, but I mean, great player.
Robin
Friggin'
Trout was
iconic,
not
and
there.
he was
And he's
iconic
fucking
in the
Asia.
70s.
Yeah, I mean, my top three would probably be Jimmy Page, Uli Roth, and Brian May, and then maybe Billy Gibbons.
What about Pat Travers? He's never.
You
on
gotta
there.
have
Mm-hmm.
Dave Gilmore up there.
Yeah, Gilmore would probably be 5 for me. I mean, I think Gilmore's incredible. I love him, but I also think it's
Well, but Dave, what about Jerry Garcia?
oh
That Pat Travers album, Crash and Burn, was summer of 1980. So
And
he
even Alex
his best
Leifson
album
didn't make
he
the
missed.
list. I would have put him on there.
Well, that wasn't his first album though.
Are we ready to hit the 1980s Shred Fest?
oh yeah.
All right.
Well, number one's got to be Van Halen.
Starting at number 10, Jason Becker.
Love him.
Great player.
Friggin', I would rank him higher.
I'm shocked. I'm saying if you have him at 10, if we're going by shredders, I mean, he's better than 99%.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm making a joke because 80s was really, it got pigeonholed as a shred, right?
Right. But Jason Becker's a shredder. He's a monster.
He's a shredder,
Mhm.
you know. But, you know, if you're going to put Jason on the list, he started in Cacophony with who?
With Marty.
And
Friedman.
Marty's a fucking, he's
Beast
amazing.
in his
He's
own
not
right.
on the list.
Well, Jason's better than Marty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Number 9, Steve Morse.
No, I love Steve Moss.
Steve Morse is awesome.
Okay.
Incredible player.
Number 8, Paul Gilbert.
Oh,
it.
great. Okay, I'm
The
liking
best
this.
shredder
list.
there. The best shredder there is, in my opinion.
Yeah, he
He's
just
versatile.
fucks around and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Just he's just musical too. Everything about him I like.
I will say this: he came in at the late '80s. I mean, like literally, like in what 88,
No,
89,
Racer X was around.
87.
I got the Racer X albums on vinyl.
Yeah.
I know, and so yeah,
Number 7,
because Jeff Martin, who was their lead singer, he was in a local band. Jeff Martin is their drummer, who was in a local band here in Phoenix in the early '80s called Surgical Still, where he was.
Well,
the
actually,
lead
You
singer.
keep
Yeah,
talking.
Jeff
I'm gonna
Martin-
run to the restroom before we finish this.
Yeah,
list.
Jeff
Hold on.
Martin was the vocalist in Racer X, but he was the drummer. He ended up being drummer for Badlands.
That's right.
That's
Yeah, and before all that, he was in a bar band called Surgical Steel.
Mhm.
And so we could go down to the Mason Jar down in Phoenix on 24th Street and see Surgical Steel a lot. And where locals were starting to call them Surgical Stale because they played so much down there. Their big claim to fame was they got in a
Bar fight.
movie with I'm going to space out on the guy's name now. An early teeny bopper singer kid that was like a Danny Partridge kind of a kid, or what was his name?
Leif Garrett?
Lyson. Leif Garrett. Yes.
How did I friggin' pull that
Surgical-
out of my ass?
Surgical Still
Leif
is in a
Garrett.
Leif Garrett movie.
Ooh, that's a claim to fame.
Yeah, you did it, man. You pulled it out.
Here's an interesting tidbit. If you guys look in, Paul Gilbert and Yngwie, there was a column in Guitar Player magazine called Spotlight.
Yeah.
And they both appeared in the same issue in Spotlight. Gilbert and
That's the one with Talking Heads on the cover.
and Yngwie Malmsteen. Actually, no, I think it was Frank Zappa on the cover.
Was it Zappa on the cover?
Yeah.
I thought it was Talking Heads.
No,
for some
no, no,
reason.
no. Yeah, Dave. So I was just telling them, if you remember the Spotlight column in Guitar Player magazine way back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gilbert and Yngwie were both in the same issue, in the same column of I think it was a Frank Zappa cover, but they were both in that same issue, so they both hit Spotlight at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My favorite thing about those guitar magazines was when they had like the young players that you may not have heard about. Is that what you're talking about? That's not that section, like where they.
Well, it was where they would send in a tape and they would
Like
you know,
Barney Spotlight.
Yeah.
But then they interview him, and it's like, I like Hendrix, Malmsteen,
Right,
and
right.
Bach.
Well, that was later, but this
Oh
one. was-
yeah. Well, they always would fucking throw in like the classic, like I like Richie Blackmore, Jimmy Page, and
Chopin.
Paganini.
Yeah.
It's like fuck off, fucking poser douche.
Yeah.
Hilarious. All right, where are we on the list?
We did.
That was
Paul
Paul-
Gilbert. Eric Johnson was number 6.
No way is he better.
10, 9, 8. Yes, number 7.
No,
He's in the
Eric
comments,
Johnson
man.
didn't have a lot of output in the 80s either. He kind of took off in
Yeah.
1990.
Yeah, and I just, I mean, he's a good player. I don't care for him.
I mean, he was around forever. But, I mean, like he played for Carole King and
Yeah,
You know,
played
and he
with,
had-
played with everybody.
Number
All right, go on.
6 is Randy Rhoads.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. It's pretty good for 2 records. Taking the decade down.
Number 5, a gentleman who has to distinguish himself from the others with a J in his initials. Yngwie J. Malmsteen.
They always put him one above Randy. They always do.
I don't agree with that.
I don't either.
I'll take Randy's
do.
2 albums against.
Well,
any of his.
Randy's definitely has written some better music.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, see, again, this is the bullshit. Because what's the criteria? If the criteria is writing, well, you could fucking throw Eric Johnson the fuck out of this list. And actually half the list you could dump. Because some people, it's like, oh, they're a great shredder. This guy had great songs. I think it has to be a mix of them all. And in that case, Randy would beat Yngwie.
Yeah.
What
it
what
has to be
if what if Randy Rhoads had Jeff Scott Soto on lead vocals, and Yngwie Malmsteen was in Ozzy's band for those first 2 albums?
But it's the songs we're talking about, not the singer.
I know, but think about 1980. Ozzy comes along with Yngwie Malmsteen in the band.
I don't think that
That
Yeah,
would
but what
work.
blow everybody away.
No, Yngwie would never be.
No,
He
it never would have made the mainstream. I don't
He
think.
I
couldn't
think it's
check
a
his
made in
egos long
Mexico. Cheech, isn't that a made in Mexico guitar? It's like a black laminate guitar, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, it's an electric.
I think Randy was far more accessible to the public than Yngwie was.
enough. Absolutely. Let's go.
All right.
Yeah, I think I my thought would be Randy. Randy was the better writer,
Definitely.
no question.
Number 4, Steve Vai.
No fucking way. He's not better than Yngwie, and they both stink at writing.
Yngwie did the better Alcatraz album.
Yep. Though
I can
like
tell
the
you right
Steve
now
Vai
who didn't make.
Alcatraz album,
I can tell you
though.
right
I like
now who
the
didn't
Disturbing
make this
Feast.
list. Who didn't write this list? Steve Vai. He would definitely have himself at number one.
Ingve didn't write the list. He'd have himself at number one for sure.
Okay. Coming in at number.
Ingve would
Ingve made
have him
Richie
at number
Blackmore.
one, and it would be a top one list. It wouldn't be top 10. It's like there's only one guitar
I remember seeing Talus open for Ingve Malmsteen, and I'm like, holy crap, I got to go practice. It
saw
was
that too.
depressing. It was.
I saw a
depressing.
video
I'm like,
recently.
oh, man,
I saw a video
suck.
recently. It's a band that was playing, and they're popular, I guess, but it's very like odd timing shit. And Vi came in and played the solo with them.
Oh, I know.
Polyphia.
Polyphia, yeah.
Polyphia.
Oh,
That
whatever.
band couldn't be more boring to me.
Really?
It was like, oh my God. I would call that song,
Math
whatever song
music.
they played with Steve Vai, I'd be like, here is an exercise in A minor. It sounds
Math
like a
mu-
fucking
math music.
exercise.
Math music.
But it was just A minor. There's like no extensions in the music. It's not like there's like interesting chords. It's like there's an A minor, there's a G, there's an F, here's a shitbag running as many fucking arpeggios using tabs and everything else. It's like, really?
You know, you
I'd rather
definitely-
listen to the Spinners.
The name of the
ne-
song
definitely
is
need
Ego
a
Death.
lead singer with some good lyric content, jumping around and screaming and entertainment.
I want
factor
melody,
in between all
boys.
the riffs.
Melody. Give me a song.
Yeah.
More cowbell.
Yeah, I'd put him on the list. Okay, where did we leave off? We did Steve Vai at number 4. Number 3, Joe
Satch.
Satriani.
In his dreams. In his motherfucking dreams. If Kirk Hammett's number 2,
Oh no.
He made the list. Satriani made the list because he said, look, I'm going to do an album with no singing on it. It's a giant guitar solo. When in 1981, 1982, we all dreamt about that. Geez, I want to hear an album that's all guitar solo all the way through.
I never dreamt about
And
it.
he did it.
I was a heterosexual male at the time.
At
But
the
I was I'm not anymore. Hello, Frisco. No, I'm telling you. What you're saying Steve Vai does, is Satriani doing it better than Steve Vai? No. Ingve does. Ingve's done instrumental albums. Does he do it better than Ingve? No. Eric Johnson does. Does he do it better than Eric Johnson? No. Eric Johnson doesn't belong on this list. Satriani hit the bricks. Nice. Doesn't make my list.
Do we want
Definitely not above Vi. Oh, you're telling me he's now I went to see G3 when it was Satriani, John Petrucci, and Paul Gilbert. Satch was the worst of the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, Petrucci bored the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of stage presence.
But but Gilbert, there's no way Satriani touches Paul Gilbert.
No.
Not on this planet.
Paul's got the personality where it's just entertaining to watch.
Yeah,
him
well,
play.
you know,
But he's
like-
musical.
yeah, exactly.
There is
And
that.
it's like, hey, I think I'm going to learn slide guitar for this next. Okay, so he's competent slide player now.
Yep.
I just think he's a
Do
great
we want to
player.
guess who number 2 is?
So
Better
Van
not be
Halen's
Kirk
going to be
Hammett.
number 1. No, it won't be Kirk Hammett. This list can't be that fucked.
Did Angus
George
make it
Lynch.
again?
My guess is George Lynch.
I'm guessing Angus again.
No.
No.
Where's
Oh,
Edward?
Warren DeMartini.
Eddie
No.
Van Halen. Come
You're
on.
in the wrong. You believe it or not, you're in the wrong genre. It's the only shredder, a non-heavy metal guy on the list.
Alan Holdsworth.
No,
Eric Clapton.
that's nice. Damn.
Oh, that's a Nuno.
Make
Oh,
him
Come
Nuno
on, Nuno
Betancourt.
Betancourt. Extreme.
Yeah, look at that. Let me see the neck.
make him full
The
screen.
back of it. The
Is
back of
it
it.
Stevens? Is it Stevens neck? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Extended cutaway.
Oof.
Tabitha Stevens. All right, go on.
Number 2 is Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh.
Interesting. All right.
And
Why
number
would he
1,
put him
of
at-
course, Edward
Eddie
Van
King
Halen.
Edward.
All right.
Okay, now who wasn't on that? And now we can bitch about
A
Gary
lot of
Moore not
people
being
weren't
on that. Gary Moore's not on there. Oh God.
There's one more
yeah, I
list
mean-
after this. We might as well knock it off after we're done. It's the 90s because I'm
All
looking
right.
at the 90s and I'm getting pissed.
Uh-oh.
The Iron Maiden guys wasn't on that
Well, no.
list.
When did
This
you get
gets-
that guitar, Zim?
I got this about 2 or 3 days ago.
Nice. And what are you selling it for?
$2,000.
Nice.
Is that new?
Yes, it's a
No.
2022.
It is?
Uh-huh.
Where's the
Look at
plate?
this
Is it in
bird.
the case?
Look at that bird's eye.
Where's the back plate? Is it in the case?
I never got the back plate.
1,500 now.
I know, huh?
Is it magnetic? Is that what it is? It's magnetic back plate or something?
No, there's 2 screws right here. That back plate's missing. It might
Okay.
be in the case.
I'm guessing that Kim Thale is going to be on there. Well, what's his name? Jerry Cantrell, Kurt Cobain, and Billy Corgan will be on this list.
You got one
And
out
Zach
of all
Wilde.
those,
And
you
Zach
got
Wilde.
one out of all those guesses.
Oh, okay. I knew there was one. Jerry Cantrell, probably.
Well, let's start
All right.
off with Jerry
Number 10.
Cantrell at number 10.
Yeah.
Wow. No, I would, and honestly, I love Jerry Cantrell, but no. No.
Well, I'm glad to hear those others aren't on the list. So
Matt, are you a big Cantrell fan?
I do like the first 2 Alice in Chains albums, especially
Same here.
Dirt. Dirt is probably by far the
Dirt, that's great.
yeah.
My
Jar
favorite
of
song
Flies is
on
good.
Dirt is the song that Lane
Them
Staley
Bones.
wrote, "Hate to Feel."
Oh, really? I
Love
think the
Hate
whole
to Feel.
album is it's like one of those albums that just from start to finish, it's just there's not a bad song on it. You know?
Let me ask you this: Dirt or Super Unknown from Soundgarden?
Dirt.
Dirt. I'll take Dirt.
Not for me. I'll take
Yeah,
the
I
Soundgarden.
never.
No, I like Super Unknown. It's just
I
I'm
don't
not
have a
saying you
single,
don't. I'm just saying I think it's a better album.
I don't
clearly
have
you
any
don't.
Soundgarden stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Dirt, I mean,
just-
Super Unknown's phenomenal.
oh,
It
I
just
love
never
Soundgarden.
Clicked with me. I don't know why.
Number 9, Mike McCready.
Yeah.
Pearl
Fuck
Jam.
off. Come on.
Squirrel Jam. I don't. Never,
I can only
Ben-
sing one guitar solo that guy did, and I only can sing it because Ace Frehley did it first, and Robbie Krieger did it before him.
Is that live?
Yeah, but you know the solo. It's a solo to She.
Yeah.
It's also the solo to 5 to 1 by the Doors. I don't care what anyone said. That's some that 5 to 1 by the Doors. Ace Frehley knew because that solo he's playing note for note over She.
Coming in at number 8, the man we were talking about earlier tonight, Dimebag Darrell.
All right.
In the
Fantastic.
90s? Hell yeah.
Yeah,
I can.
I can see that.
Coming in
great.
at number 7 makes absolutely no sense to me. He's more 80s. I mean, yeah, they were still around in 91. Vito Bratta from White Lion.
Yeah, he's 80s. It's
He's
like-
80s. Yeah, the best of his work was the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the best of his work was in the 90s when he retired.
Leave the guy alone, you fuck.
I'm not a fan.
I love Vito.
I mean, the best of White Lion came out in 1992. All the other stuff, the big stuff, and Main Attraction was 91. The Big Game and Pride was 87 and 89. He's not an
I
80s
like your
list.
version of Radar Love.
Right,
That was
there we go.
89.
You weren't here when I
Love
brought
that
that up a week or two ago.
Do they do When the Children Cry?
Yes.
Fuck that band.
Oh, you fuck.
I hate that song.
I know, but you know what?
I hate it too.
Karaoke bar or whenever my band is practicing weird
Great
songs
solo.
like that, I can always sing those. It's in my range. Every White Lion song.
And I
sound
like
just
to
that
say,
dude.
Sean didn't make the 70s or the 80s list. Neil Sean.
Sean Lane.
Oh,
No, Neil
Oh,
Sean.
Neil Sean.
Neil Sean.
Neil Sean Lane.
you know,
Coming in at number 6,
Sean
Zach
Lane.
Wild.
yeah.
Oh,
he
I
should-
thought he'd be higher.
What year is Blessed Hell Ride?
That's a great fucking album. Let me look it up.
Stolen
Early 90s.
Draw. Oh, it's a fucking great record. That record's not going to win any awards, but it's fun to listen to in the gym. Crank.
2003.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
It's the
That's the
fourth
year I
album.
would give up. Yeah. All right.
Coming in at number 5, Marty Friedman.
All right, because you got him in the Rust in Peace all the way to Risk.
Yep.
Coming in at number 4, one of my personal favorites. I don't know that I'd put him at number 4, but I would definitely put him above the one coming in at number 3. And that is at number 4, Buckethead.
Oh, I love Bucket.
Buckethead.
What's in
Very-
the bucket?
Very,
But he
very-
kind of he came into prominence in 2000. So
That's
I know
what
he's
I'm
around
thinking.
in the
No,
90s.
Yeah.
It's like
Praxis
sacrifice.
transmutation.
Yeah,
No, the
but
first one, Transmutandus Mutanda, is like 92, and he's a monster on that record.
oh yeah, he is. But the thing is, it's one of those things. How visible was he? It's like I mean,
I knew who
because
he
they make
was.
the same-
very visible. He was 8 feet tall with a fucking bucket on his head.
Yeah, but
It's a Kentucky Fried Chicken and Funeral on it.
yeah, but then again, we're talking about excluding Eddie Van Halen from the 70s, when he came on like a sledgehammer.
In
But Eddie Van
78.
Halen wasn't raised by chickens. Buckethead was.
That's exactly right.
Coming in at number 3, Dave, open up the door to the woods
Which-
and load your fucking shotgun because here comes Tom
Carlos
Morello.
Santana. He ranks that fucking high over Zach Wild.
Over Zach, over Dimebag.
Okay, now I said Jerry Cantrell doesn't belong on this list. I don't think, and Morello is like, he would be in my top 300. I can't imagine ever putting him anywhere on a list.
No. Ridiculous.
Coming in at number 2, Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
I mean, he's a good player, but why is
No.
I
He's
saw him
not
open
good.
like
for
him.
Van
I
Halen.
think he's
Shouldn't
a
be
great
on the
player.
list.
15.
No.
Shouldn't be on the list.
where the fuck is Sean Lane?
It's a name drop.
Coming in at number 1, someone that Dave said earlier was boring. From Dream Theater, John Petrucci.
Well, he's a
That
great
list,
player,
yeah.
hands down.
Yeah. That list was kind of bullshit.
At least he beat Tom Morello.
Yeah.
Now, if
I mean,
again,
it
if
was
we're
just by
talking
a
about
hair.
songwriting and playing, I don't know how you don't put Chris Cornell in a list. Because you could say Kim Thale, but Chris wrote all those songs. And those are fucking great songs.
I mean, I'm
And
looking
who
at
else
the
do we got?
80s. How do you leave out Vivian Campbell? I love Vivian Campbell from the Dio albums.
I think Snake Sabo
From Skid
is
Row.
better than some. What's that?
From Skid Row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was pretty good. I mean, how come Carlos Santana didn't make it in this year?
That's because he made it in 2000, whatever, when he came
Where's
back.
Chuck Schulnider from Death?
Yeah, where's Trey Azagoff from Morbid Angel?
Metal Church?
John Marshall. Yeah.
Yeah, Cheap says for the 80s, John Sykes.
Where's John Sykes? I'm looking at the list.
Oh yeah, John Sykes should be. He should be way high on the list.
Yeah, I mean,
Where's the Iron Maiden guys at?
oh, they're home having tea. You know, it's fucked up because, like I said, we have to come up, like we should come up with our own list system. Because I think if we did, we would put players, would find out the players maybe would rank different even to ourselves if we had to put it into a certain criteria. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you sit there. The only reason why I know that is because when I do it with cigars and I talk to somebody, I'm like, this is a great cigar. And then I go over the whole point system and I'm like, although it didn't score higher than the Oliva V, and I like it better than the Oliva V. But generally, if I'm going for a scoring thing with a criteria, there's some things that are going to, that factor. So when you have a guitar player, is technical prowess the top grade, or is it just a fraction? Songwriting is the writing or what they do in the song.
I can't even say what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, but songwriting isn't really got anything to do.
I don't mean songwriting. I mean what you play for the song. Like obviously, if
If it adds to the music, yeah.
yes,
You have songs, but some don't add anything to the music. It's just, playing through the chords.
Yeah.
the Oliva V. See, Eric Johnson likes the Oliva V.
Yeah.
Actually, just mentioning cigars, after this, I'm going to smoke a Plasencia 1898. Now, for those of you in the States, it's a hard cigar to find. If you're in Europe, that's the one that's very common that they sell. But it's a great cigar, and I like the Plasencia brand a lot. The 1898 I'll be smoking shortly after this show. Jay, what are you watching? Cartoons?
No, I'm thinking about something that I don't want to mention, but I'm laughing my ass off to myself. I'll tell
I
you
think
later.
a lot of these guitar players that end up with signature guitar models, how much does that have to do with these popularity lists?
I tell you what.
Because I never even really heard of
Kiefer
John
Sutherland
Mayer.
has a signature Gibson.
Next
No,
week, here's what I have
John Mayer
saved for
before,
next week.
Hold on, guys. Listen up.
Next week, I found, I think it's a fucking top 200, but we won't do everyone. Oh my God, no, it's top 250 of the 100 greatest rock guitar solos.
Ooh.
Wow.
I
Now,
think
rock
that's
guitar
gonna be a good one.
solos.
We could do the top 50 of it.
Not only do I think that's going to be a good one, but we're going to discuss how the fuck Carlos Santana made it to number one. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
And where's Nick Gilder's guitar player through all this?
He's with the hot child in the city.
Hey, Dave.
Now,
are you
I'm
still-
just going to mention a guitar solo that's not going to be on this list because it's not rock.
I'm going to control
think-
effort. Go ahead.
But I think it's the greatest guitar solo of all time.
Go ahead.
Feels So Good by Chuck Mangione, and the guitar player is Grant Giesman.
Feel or feels so good.
Feels So Good. Feels. That guitar solo he played plugged direct into a board, and when he does that, his playing back then, and he does it. I don't know if you guys ever watched Norman's Rare Guitars. He goes into Norman's and plays the solo, sitting there. It's a monster. It is a monster.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing, Dave.
It won't be there.
The only Chuck on this list is Chuck Berry.
Oh God.
He's at number 107 for Johnny Be Good. But now, let me just point one more thing out. I don't want to dive too deep into this list, but let's whet people's appetites for next Monday night. Number, where was he?
Hold on. Okay,
Number
I have
111
something.
is Tom Morello for Know Your Enemy. And he's beating out your buddy, Dickie Betts, who's in the 115 for Jessica.
I'm surprised Dickie Betts is on there.
I just got to get that
That's right.
face out of Dave.
On these
Awesome
lists.
that he's on
Jessica's
the list.
great.
Dickie's
And you know
on
what's
the
best part of Jessica is that piano solo that sounds like Peanuts. It sounds like Charlie Brown in that
list.
song.
I like his
Chuck
lead.
Leavell.
I like Dickie Betts' lead in Melissa is a great lead.
Number 250, Stomp by Phil Keaggy.
Christ.
I've actually got that album.
Number
Christ.
249,
No, he's a
Linus
good-
and
he's a
Lucy
good
by
player.
Gary Hoey.
What was it called?
Linus and Lucy,
by
Gary
Gary
Hoey.
Hoey.
That's
Hocus Pocus is
that's
better.
the Charlie
Some
Brown
Christmas.
theme.
Yeah.
No, Linus and Lucy is the name of the Charlie Brown theme.
Yeah.
Okay. I slightly remember that. And he'd whammy bar through it and stuff.
Number 248, No Gravity, Kiko Lareo.
Kiko's a great player, but
Maybe
don't know the
because it's
song.
the Christmas season, we should find some kind of a Christmas list.
247, Something by George Harrison.
It's
It's
probably his best solo.
They go, oh my goodness. All right. Well, we got 246, Psalm of Lydia, Jeff Loomis. Loomis is a beast.
I just want to say this. So yesterday, a friend of mine called me up and he's like, "Hey, listen, come over to my this guy Paul's house. He's got a little cigar lounge he's just built in his garage, and it was like on a second floor of his garage. It was nice. So we were there with like 10 people, and we started watching. I think the show's called Tulsa King.
Oh, with Sylvester Stallone.
How is it?
Has it? It's fantastic.
I got to check it
I
out.
don't know if I'll ever watch another episode because I'm just a lazy fuck like that and don't care when I can watch Columbo. But I really enjoyed it. I was like, fucking Stallone's great in it. The story's fun. He's like an ex-gangster that's living in Tulsa, Oklahoma, dealing with like a biker gang. It's fucking fun. Good stuff. I enjoyed it. So if you guys, I don't know if anyone in the chat is watching it at the moment instead of this. But you should be. If you have a life, you'd be. You guys ever watch Cheers, the show Cheers?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a great bit when Norm, when they all go to the bowling alley and they walk in the bowling alley and everyone goes, "Hey, Norm," like just like in Cheers, and they all go, "How do they know you here?" He goes, "I got a life, you know." Fucking classic.
Hey Dave, are we ever going to do your TV show theme thing you were talking about?
Oh, eventually, yeah. We'll do that. We'll do that with next week too, if we can. Yeah, I mean, this is what happens, Matt. It's like we're doing stuff now that we talked about 2 months ago.
Oh, okay.
We mean to get to stuff, and then we go down the road. What do you got going on this week, Matt? Anything good? Since we're wrapping it up here.
Not. Let me see. Nothing special. No, just kind of the daily grind.
All right. Dane, you went away for a few minutes. Did you?
Yeah,
you
I
watched the
went
show
to
Tulsa King? Tulsa King. Have you been watching it?
No, I have not.
All right.
What's it called?
Tulsa King. Tulsa Kings. King of Tulsa.
No, just
Tulsa? I don't know.
No, it's Tulsa King.
All right. I have no fucking idea. Like I said, I watched it for the first time. We were smoking cigars,
And it's on Hulu or Netflix. Where?
I think it's on Peacock. Let me see.
Okay.
Let me look up. I don't want to
Like
talk out of it.
like Tulsa, Oklahoma, or something. Tulsa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did
All right,
watch
Tulsa
Wednesday.
King
You guys watch
episode
Wednesday?
guide. Doesn't say
Netflix.
what it's on.
Wednesday
Let me
Addams.
see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
I haven't
I'm
watched
gonna
that.
check
It's,
that
it's
out.
Paramount. It's on Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus. I have Paramount Plus.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Then you should watch it. It's very enjoyable.
Oh, Dan Delaney's in there. Yeah.
Oh, Michael J.B. watches it. Yeah, Tulsa King's excellent. I really enjoyed it. I like Stallone. I like, I would suggest putting on the closed captioning because when Stallone talks, sometimes you're like, what the fuck did he say?
I watch anything with Stallone.
What?
Last night I actually watched Tom Cruise.
He talks like his brother
in
plays.
his movie Night and Day with Cameron Diaz. Oh my God, Cameron Diaz about 20 years
Oh,
ago.
Night and Days with Cruise. Great movie.
Yes, I watched that. last
His parents keep winning like different lotteries and different trips everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a fucking great. I think it's a super fun.
And the part
like
where
action
she ended
movie.
up in he keeps drugging her and she ended up in her bikini.
Yeah, it's on the island.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you. I don't know if none of you guys have seen Night and Day. I'm telling you right now, it's one of the best entertaining action movies with Tom Cruise. I love it.
And I also watched 1941.
John Belushi.
Really?
Yeah,
Steven
John
Spielberg.
Belushi and and that was pretty good. And that was Steven Spielberg. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
this is his worst movie ever.
Steven Spielberg also directed the very first season episode of Columbo.
Yep.
It's called Murder by the Book. It starred Jack Cassidy. Oh, it's a great episode.
Mrs. Sank.
Great. What, Miss Lysanka? Exactly. She was murdered in Venice, by the way.
Yeah.
The woman in this episode, Matt, was killed in like the 70s, shortly after the episode in Venice.
Wow.
Yeah, her and her boyfriend just got shot by some people in a van. They never found out
Yeah.
what happened.
Speaking about
Probably,
Go ahead.
I was going to say probably down, when you go down Rose and you get to Rose and 6th and then you cut over that way, that park was, that still wasn't a great neighborhood, but that's where I'm sure it
It
happened.
was probably Jack Cassidy.
Oh, so you're,
Now-
you're talking on the other side of Lincoln, like east
On
of,
the beach, the west side of Lincoln.
okay. Well, you're saying going on at Rose to 6th.
To 6th, Lincoln would be 8th.
Okay. Well, I thought you meant go past 6th.
No. So if you take a right on 6th,
Oh.
there's that neighborhood where there's like a park over there.
Uh-huh.
I know Dima got shot over there a couple of times. Didn't get
A
hit.
couple of times.
They were shooting at him over there.
Jeez.
Who?
Yeah.
Who
So
did they shoot
I was
at?
starting to say, you mentioned Cheers before. Did you know Kirstie Alley died today?
No.
I did?
Really?
Kirstie
Kidding.
Alley died today.
Wow.
What'd she die from?
I did not know that.
Let me look it up. I don't
I
know.
love her back in the.
Yeah, who didn't
Yeah, I
love
mean,
her?
she outlived her career by fucking 30
Love it.
years.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you. It's a terrible
She was
joke,
sultry.
folks. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
she died
Actually
at
did like
71
Kirstie
years old after a battle with cancer.
Oh, that's terrible.
God rest her soul.
That's awful.
Rhea Perlman outlived her.
Man. A lot of people have been dropping off.
Look Who's Talking was a lot of fun.
Oh, Crow.
Okay, well, that put a damper on the even.
Yeah, well, I didn't mean to end the
Rhea-
show on that, but I just thought it was interesting.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
Christine McVie just died, So
Yeah,
does
Christine-
anyone
yeah.
know? Would she have cancer too? Anyone know?
They don't. No one said anything, but they did say
I
that
thought they did say.
everybody was by her side and at the hospital,
Yeah, that's why I think it was probably.
which
cancer.
tells me something was up. It wasn't like it
Yeah.
was sudden,
She
Yeah.
got hit by a bus.
Yeah.
right?
Wouldn't you rather just get hit by a bus? Honestly.
It depends how good the bus hit me.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm
Yeah.
torn up on the ground and I live for a few days, it's like fucking.
Yeah. If it's just lights out automatically, yeah, that's okay.
I'd love to be. I'd love to be there for that. Guys, you want to back it up again one more time? He's still moving.
Yeah,
Crowbar's moving. Let's go. Let's get these
I'm
wheels on.
waving my good hand up and
This way,
going.
make
One
sure you
more,
get his-
one more.
Make sure you get his throat.
Cliff from Metallica.
Oh shit.
Christ.
Seriously, I'm thinking the bus landed on him twice. He fell out of the bus and they were jacking it up
yeah.
to pull him out and it fell off the jack.
That is not true.
I'm just telling you what I heard.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, but where did you hear that? Let me. What's that guy's
I don't
name?
know where I heard that. I'm an old guy. I hear things.
Well, here's
was his
here's a
name?
question. I've got a question about that whole
Cliff
thing.
Burton.
There's supposedly the bus they were on, it slid on ice. Okay. If it's cold enough out that there's ice on the road, why the fuck do you have the bus window open? Because he fell out the
Well, if
window.
the bus rolls a couple times, those windows are just breaking.
probably
He
got
did. He
thrown
fell out
out,
the
man.
window.
Yeah.
that's how the bus landed on him.
He got thrown out and the bus landed on him.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
The
was
bu-
it broken?
wait, the
or
bus
was it,
did
did he
land
just
on
fall
him?
out the window?
Yeah, well, someone cut the cheese and they opened the fucking window just as the fucking.
As he said,
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you, Dane's right.
the bus took. a
Dane's right.
spin.
Andy's wrong. They tried lifting the bus with a crane, and the crane slipped, crashed in time.
But was he already dead?
They weren't lifting it with their hands because that was what was sounding absurd to me. They were lifting it with a crane to rescue him.
Okay. But
And
was he
the
already
fucking
dead?
crane slips and that bus falls on him. Hey, thanks for dropping a bus on my head a second time.
Jeez, I mean,
It's
hate
good
to
to
say this,
stay
but
out of the band,
it,
right?
it played out. It played out almost like a Roadrunner cartoon.
Yeah.
You know,
So
the
he was
coyote
still-
just got double tapped.
So are you saying he was still alive after the initial accident?
That's
Apparently,
what.
why else would they be
That's
trying
what
to save
Kirk
him with a
Hammett said.
crane?
Yeah, it's like.
Well, maybe.
I
they
mean, when
couldn't
you
even
watch
see
some
him.
kind of
Maybe they-
monster or whatever that thing was, that's what they said. Oh no, the interview they did.
Oh, some kind of monster.
Yeah,
If you watch
The-
the movie Some Kind of Monster and you put Kirk Hammett on any list, you have. He doesn't look good in that movie. All right, guys, we're going to call it. It's 10:02. Early enough for me to smoke a cigar.
Yeah.
Late enough for me to enjoy it.
All right.
Zim, thank you for coming.
Dane,
Thanks
it's
for
fine.
being here.
Yeah. Thank you for
Whatever.
having me.
I know it's your name.
Mm.
I put you at Zim in the beginning. You asked. I don't know.
That's good.
Dane,
It's my
good
it's the
having
name of my
you here.
store, Zim's Guitars.
Matt Cable, very good seeing you, my friend.
Thank you.
As
sir.
always.
Appreciate it.
Joe, a pleasure as always. And we'll definitely have some fun next week with that fucking list. I can tell you that.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And Krellba,
you.
Tuesday,
saying
tomorrow
who's
night, I'm
crying
going.
now?
I'll be down to the Ash. I know sometimes you
Yeah.
can't go.
I don't. Yeah, it's always a tough.
Yeah,
call.
it's your busy season.
Neil Schon, Who's Crying
That's
Now, will
great.
be on that list.
Hey, so did you guys see Neil Schon and Jonathan Cain are fighting over money?
You.
No.
Oh, so they're like arguing. I guess they started a corporation together, and somehow Neil Schon doesn't have access to all the information on the spending, and Jonathan Cain is keeping it secret. So now Neil Schon's like, well, I'm going out on the road with Journey, and Greg Raleigh's going to be playing keyboards.
Well, hey, they can play that some of the old tunes.
I don't know how none of you guys know. This is the bullshit that comes up on my feed.
That's an ultimate fuck you, though.
Yeah.
But
Unbelievable.
what were some of
No.
the old tunes that he used to sing that were really, really good?
Greg
Anytime-
Raleigh sang Anytime.
Oh, yeah.
And he also did the Feeling That Way.
Mm-hmm.
He sang the
I'm
verses to
standing
Feeling That
here,
Way.
my arms, my
Yeah,
arms.
he was on the keyboards on Wheel in the Sky and stuff like that too.
Well, he
But
played
didn't
the
sing it.
keyboards,
He didn't
but
sing
no, but he
Yeah,
sang
he
all the
didn't
Our Lifetime is a great song
sang
on the
all the
first
notes.
album. I love Greg Raleigh.
They harmonized really good together on those early albums, and I think that they missed out on some good harmonies after he left.
Well,
the
remember
band.
that song? If you feel, I'm feeling that way too.
Yeah.
Or am I just your fool? Then Steve, when the summer's gone, she'll be
That was
there.
epic. That was the Infinity album, wasn't it?
Oh, I'm not playing
that-
at the Ash. The Ash is a cigar lounge that I'll be going to. Tuesday night, we do it's in Pawtucket. We do the
See you
Tuesday
next
night
Tuesday.
crew. See you next Tuesday crew. We just hang out and smoke cigars.
See.
What we've been doing lately is somebody's been going in the shop in the humidor, picking a cigar, taking the bands off, and then we all rate them and try to figure out what they are. Craig,
Good night,
oh, you're
everybody.
talking into
I
your
gotta go
phone.
put
Road
Mike to the
Trey
bed.
knows his name. He's just he talks into text. All right, everyone, have a great one. I want to thank everyone for hanging out with us, and we will see you guys next week. Very good.
Okay, goodbye, Ted.